Oh,
There we go.
yes.
Okay. Goodness, that was a struggle getting that ready. My
YouTube, why you change things up?
and don't say nothing. All right. Oh no. Gotta have power. Don't want to die in the middle of the thing.
So, do you have the story prepared?
Oh yeah, I have the story. It's ready to go. I got the story. Good morning, anybody. Hi. Good morning,
Hi, good
everybody.
morning,
Who
good
happens?
afternoon, wherever, whatever time it may be where you are.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We are good.
How are you doing today?
I am in my bum in it lazy outfit today because after we're done streaming, I have to clean the fish tanks, and that involves vacuuming poop and scraping algae off of walls. So,
And it's early, it's Sunday.
and it's Sunday.
Got our coffee. Ready to read.
Hey, Hufflepuff is cool.
Hello. Ready to read Hogwarts, A School of Prayer and Miracles.
Yes, a very different fan fiction from what we read yesterday. I still had morning, Katie. Afternoon, Katie. Uh, very different from what we read yesterday.
I think we all need a little bit of different from what we read yesterday.
Just in the middle of the Sorting Hat. Like, were you watching the Sorting Hat one just before?
Oh, goodness.
Uh,
Be warned, we weren't expecting it to be quite as graphic as it was.
yeah, no, we were not ready. No one was ready. No one was ready for that. I don't think there's a way to prepare for that.
We're going down a different road today,
Yeah,
though.
we're going in a different direction. Um, so
And good morning, by the way.
yes, good morning. The fanfic is done. Ooh,
Oh, really?
send it to us then, and we'll maybe we'll read it for the next.
I did reply to you. I sent you our email on Discord. I also put it on our channel page, so you'll be able to find our email there if you want to send it to us that way.
Yeah, and then we'll read it. Oh, potentially next time, but I think next time we may have to talk about book 4. Either way, we'll read it. So send it to us, and we will read it.
Well, we can always do both.
Yeah, that's true. We could just do a recap of book 4 and then read your story.
Mm-hmm.
I started listening to your live stream last night when I got home from work, and I was laying in bed and my boyfriend was next to me sleeping. I kept giggling. He was like, "What are you laughing at?" How do you even explain that? I don't know.
Yeah,
That
that's
story. How do you even? Hello. Good
hello.
morning. Yeah, I don't know how you explain that story to anyone.
That's very difficult too.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's one of those things where you just tell them they're better off not knowing.
Yeah, that's a. Yeah. You don't need to know. You don't want to know. Oh, okay.
But we're glad you found it funny because we had a great time.
Oh my god,
I
it
know
was.
my face was hurting. I was laughing so much after that.
Oh my god, it was great. My, I've been corrupted on so many levels, but it was so much fun. So instead of being corrupted, today we are going to be uh saved,
Purified.
purified.
Maybe we should just do a disclaimer. This is a religious based story.
Yes.
This does not reflect our views in any way. We are just reading the story.
Yes. And any reactions we have or any comments we make are not intended to be insulting or hateful or anything like that. We're just reacting to the story.
Okay.
Okay. Should I be British?
Why not? I feel like we've been British this whole time. Should just keep it going.
Oh, you should definitely complete the Sorting Hat story. You should finish the Sorting Hat story. Absolutely. Oh, don't start laughing already. I'm not going to be able to read. I was thinking about your fan fiction. The most cliche thing I could think of is the typical love triangle. This is true. A perfectly beautiful Mary Sue caught between two individuals. Who should she pick?
Or weren't we going with Lockhart?
You guys
Who
are
would
just
Lockhart's love
you-
triangle be with?
You guys are just giving me so much good material to use. Oh, now I'm gonna have to be like, okay, well, how do I sort through this? And
Now here's a question. Do you think you're gonna write it as one fanfic, or are you gonna go chapters?
oh, it's gonna have to be chapters.
Okay.
It's not gonna be a one shot. It's gonna have to be chapters.
I just wasn't sure how much you were up to.
I'll probably try to write once I get the idea hits me and I'm just like, boom, this is what I'm going with. I'll try and write at least until school starts. And then I'll probably have to stop during school, but without further ado, Hogwarts School of Prayer and Miracles by Proud Housewife. Author's note. Hello, friends. My name is Grace Ann. I'm new to this whole fanfiction thing, but recently I've encountered a problem that I believe this is a solution to. My little ones have been asking to read the Harry Potter books, and of course I'm happy for them to be reading, and I don't want them turning into witches. So I thought, why not make some slight changes so these books are family friendly? And then I thought, why not share this with all the other mummies who are facing the same problem? So ta-da! Here it is. I'm so excited to share this with all of you. So, without further ado, Chapter 1. Once upon a time, there was a little boy named Harry Potter who lived under the stairs in a house on Privet Drive with his aunt and uncle. He was a good, obedient boy who did all his chores, but he felt that there was something missing in his life. Something big and special, but he couldn't quite name it. He stayed up every night and wished for this special something, but then one day there was a knock at his door and everything changed. Answer the door, Harry! His Aunt Petunia, a career woman, barked from her armchair where she sat with her feet up. She had short curly blonde hair and never wore any makeup. Uncle Vernon nodded sheepishly from the kitchen and put away a tray of moist chocolatey brownies in the oven. Shouldn't you be doing that? Harry thought. But he was a very obedient young boy, so he answered the door right away. He turned the brass metal doorknob and pulled open the heavy wooden door. On the porch was standing a huge muscular man with a big manly beard, and he was dressed in a plaid red shirt, blue jeans, and sturdy leather boots. His chest was covered in a thick, unruly carpet of coarse brown hair. He wore a necklace that looked like a lowercase t. He wore a necklace that looked to Harry like a lowercase t. Just looking at Harry feel happy, peaceful somehow, but he couldn't say why.
Already, I picture Dursleys as like the Flanders family.
Why is Hagrid... I'm assuming this is Hagrid. Why is Hagrid exposing his chest?
Yeah, that's true. Why?
Does she have a thing for Hagrid, this author?
Maybe.
Morning, kiddo. The man greeted amiably and smiled at Harry. He had the peaceful, friendly sort of face you just knew you could trust. My name is Hagrid. Could I speak to your mummy and daddy? I don't have a mummy or daddy, Harry replied sadly, and looked at his raggedy old shoes that were blue. Perhaps that was why he felt so lonely, he thought, not for the first time. Maybe that was what he was missing, a mummy and daddy. But no, that wasn't quite right. I'm sorry to hear that, Hagrid uttered emphatically. You can speak with my auntie and uncle, Harry retorted politely, and blinked his big blue childlike eyes.
No, they aren't.
Harry doesn't have blue eyes, people.
But Mrs. Dursley also doesn't have curly blonde hair either.
She has blonde hair.
She does. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because the
Yeah.
movie got it wrong. I forgot about that.
She has blonde hair.
She does have blonde hair.
What do you want? Aunt Petunia peered out the door with her narrow, suspicious eyes, and she was wearing a baggy, unflattering pantsuit. Okay.
Why do you have to dress them so badly?
I don't know.
I'm picturing Hagrid more as like a lumberjack, the flannel, torn
That's
out, just this big poof
yeah.
of chest hair coming out.
That's what I mean. Wearing a cross.
Yeah,
like
just resting in this big like afro
bush
chest hair, just nestled in a little nest.
Hello, neighbor. I was wondering if you'd been saved, Hagrid exclaimed brightly and tipped his wide-brimmed straw cowboy hat.
She definitely has a thing for
Hagrid.
Guaranteed. Pretty soon she's going to be talking about how muscular his arms are.
Oh, Lord. Aunt Petunia laughed a gravelly laugh and leaned forward on her sturdy, practical boots. Saved? Don't tell me you're one of those Christians. Harry did not know what that word meant, but Hagrid's smile was the most peaceful smile he'd ever seen. It made Harry feel warm and happy inside, just seeing the glowing, radiant grin of the kind, friendly stranger's face. He wondered why Aunt Petunia and Uncle Vernon did not smile like that. Yes, I am, Hagrid replied kindly. Are you? Aunt Petunia laughed again and stuck her pointy, sharp nose up in the air. We are too smart for that. Haven't you read Dawkins? God is dead. Dawkins proved that. Would you like us to educate you on the Dawkins?
Darn you, Dawkins. and your book, Evolution of Speckies.
What is Christian? Harry queried innocently and scuffed his shoe on a shaggy yellow carpet which had not been vacuumed in quite some time. Christians are people who want to be good, Hagrid explained wisely and crouched down so he was on eye level with Harry. We want to go to heaven after we die. Do you know what heaven is, Harry? Harry shook his head and his big eyes were wide and curious. Hey, George.
Hey, George, welcome.
Heaven is a beautiful place where you can be with God. Aunt Petunia smacked her hands over Harry's young ears, and her voice was sickly sweet when she said, Thank you very much for your concern, sir, but he does not need your religion. He has science and socialism and birthdays. Haven't you heard of evolution? I have a very good textbook on evolution that I could give you if you would like to learn things. Hagrid laughed wisely. Evolution is a fairy tale. You don't really believe that, do you? Yes, I do, Aunt Petunia screeched. Well, then prove it. Aunt Petunia could only stare at him, and her big mouth hung open dumbly. Where she thought she was so educated, and here she thought she was so educated and always demanded that Christians prove what they believed in, but she couldn't even prove her own religion. It was then that Harry knew who the smart one was. Aunt Petunia actually seems like the logical character in this story right now. Oh my God! Tell me how to get to this heaven place, Harry cried wistfully, clasping his hands together. Sometimes the wisdom of little ones really is amazing. We think grown-ups know it all, but then God speaks through the mouths of little ones and shows us how we are all mortals struggling along the path of life. Humility. All you have to do is be saved. Do you want to be saved? I do, Harry squealed, jumping up and down. Then pray the sinner's prayer. Aunt Petunia tried to stop him, but she was powerless against Harry's pure, innocent, holy energy. Soon Harry had said the prayer. Hagrid was beaming now. You're a Christian, Harry, Hagrid cried proudly. Harry smiled, but then interrogated.
Wait a second. Is Hagrid Jesus? I mean, think about it, how Hagrid looks. And he's coming and saving Harry.
Is Hagrid Jesus? I don't know.
A giant Jesus.
Oh, I want Voldemort to be in this story so badly.
Oh, good. Voldemort is just probably going to be the devil. Or
yeah,
something.
I know. It's going to be boring.
Lucifer.
He's going to be the devil. That's why it'll be great, though. Because she'll write it so badly.
Or no. Voldemort is going to be Darwin.
Oh, that'd be great.
The way this is going.
Voldemort could be Darwin. Harry smiled, but then interrogated. But how do I be a Christian? I don't know how. Hagrid grinned widely. There is only one place to learn that. Hogwarts School of Prayer and Miracles. Author's note. So what do you think? I may not be a professional writer, but I think I'm given the talent to pull this off in service of a greater mission. Blessings.
Wait, was
that was chapter 1.
Okay.
That was the end of chapter 1.
Okay, I thought that was the end. I'm like, wait, no. This is starting to get good. I want to see Darwin Voldemort.
Oh, there's like 14 chapters of this story, which we're not going to read the whole thing today. We're not going to have time, but there's 14 chapters at least of this story. Hagrid hands here. Although I am not Christian, I do not like this. Yeah. I'm not Christian either. And even if I was, I don't like this. Please try to respect. Listen. We will do our best. Chapter 2. New Horizons. Author's note. Hello, friends. I've been getting so many lovely, thankful messages from mommies everywhere, and I just want to say thank you for all your encouragement. However, I've also been getting several messages saying that my story is bad because Harry Potter is not just about witches. It is also about friendship and kindness and bravery. Friends, this is exactly what I've been saying. Harry Potter has so many good things about it, but it still has witchcraft, so my children cannot read it. But that is why I'm writing this, so they can have all the adventure and good morals of the Harry Potter books, without all that bad stuff that is bogging it down. I mean Matthew 3:12, right? So, without further ado, on to chapter 2. Gotta have author's notes, right? That's how you know it's a good fan fiction.
Exactly. Oh, hi, Heather. I don't know if we said good morning to you or not. This is the first time I noticed your message.
Yeah, I think maybe. Yeah. Hogwarts School of Prayer and Miracles, Harry queried and clasped his hands. Just at hearing the name, he felt such a sense of inner peace. He wanted to have more of that peace, and he wanted to learn how to be a good Christian. He was starting to think that peace and being a good Christian were in fact, the same thing. I want to go there. Hagrid beamed widely. He'd been praying so hard to save a soul today, and he was so happy to have saved the soul of such a sweet, earnest little one. The poor boy, being raised by two parents who were not Christian, and who both went to work and left him with a babysitter all day. It was a good thing Hagrid had got here in time. 5 years down the road, Harry might have been a fornicating, drug-addicted evolutionist. Darn those sex-having, drug-taking evolutionists. I love the author's notes, too. They're like, yeah, they're like a story within a story, almost. They're great. Don't be silly, Harry, Aunt Petunia commanded and wrung her long, bony hands. Come back inside. I will read to you about evolution from the Dawkins. You do not need that silly religion. Darwin! It's Darwin!
No, it's great. I love it being Dorkwins.
It's the Dawkins. That's what she called
the Dawkins?
The Dawkins. Not just we're going to read Darwin. No, we're going to read from the Dawkins.
I feel like that would have been a better title.
The Dawkins.
Yeah.
Harry
like
Potter
the
and the Dawkins.
Bible.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
right.
what I think that's how she's writing it, is like,
that would be great. Going to like biology class and okay, now class, open your Dawkins to page 12.
Harry scrunched up his innocent little face and thought very hard. Aunt Petunia and Uncle Vernon were as close to parents as he'd had, and this was the only home he knew. Could he really leave? But he was saved now. He had prayed the sinner's prayer. He could not stay here, not any more, not with what he knew. Suddenly he knew what he had to do. No, Aunt Petunia, he uttered calmly with childlike wisdom. Evolution is not real, and I'm going to Hogwarts. See, that's what I thought. I was wondering if she means Richard Dawkins, but I don't think this woman knows enough. I think she's like blending Darwin and Dawkins together. I really don't know.
I'll give her the benefit of the doubt and say that she means
Richard Dawkins.
Yeah.
Harry Potter and the Holy Bible. Yeah, she could be in Richard Dawkins. You have a good point there. We'll give her the author the benefit of the doubt, although I'm sure she's probably never read Darwin, but that's...
This would be great as a Monty Python skit.
Oh my god. I feel like if she's anti-evolution, I would hope so. But if she's American, she may not. I'm just saying, people here are anti-American and have no idea who that man is.
That's true.
But we'll give her the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
No, Harry, Aunt Petunia screeched desperately. I have an idea. You can have a second birthday today. You like birthdays, right? Birthdays are not of God, Harry verbally. Wow. Parmpants, do you want to come read the story? Birthdays are not of God, Harry verbalized knowingly, and looked up at his aunt with an innocent wisdom. You tried to corrupt me, but it did not work. But I forgive you, Aunt Petunia, because of Luke 23:34. Hagrid was amazed once again at the wisdom of little ones. He did not know if he could forgive someone who'd hurt him as much as this woman had hurt little Harry. Deny him the truth? Who would be so cruel? But Harry did not think twice about it. He forgave, just like that. Truly, Hagrid gained a new understanding of Matthew 19:14 that day. Hagrid should sing the Lumberjack song. That'd be great. Don't leave, Harry, Dudley wailed childishly. I must, Harry said, and stepped over the threshold. Goodbye, Dursleys. I hope you are saved one day, too. And with that, he and Hagrid began to walk down Privet Drive. How will we get to this school? Harry queried curiously. We will pray, Hagrid retorted knowledgeably. How do we do that? Harry solicited inquisitively. Watch, Hagrid said, and then got down on his knees on the road. He motioned for Harry to get down on his knees too. Hagrid raised his hands to the heavens and cried out in a deep, thunderous voice, Dear Lord, take us to Hogwarts! Harry felt himself being whisked away, and in a moment he was sitting in the cool, damp grass outside a humongous, beautiful castle. He looked in awe at the tall towers and grey stones. What a beautiful place! A tall, thin man with a long, pointed beard and big, wire spectacles stood in front of Harry. He was wearing a brown tweed suit and a nice matching hat. His shoes were made of leather and polished until they shone. He had a smile such like Hagrid's smile, so peaceful, Harry just knew he could trust him. A lovely, kind young woman with flowing blonde hair and a pleasant, heart-shaped face stood beside this holy man. Hello there, little one, the man greeted amicably. I am the Reverend Albus Dumbledore, and this is my wife, Minerva. Welcome to Hogwarts School of Prayer and Miracles.
Why's she got to be his wife?
Why does she have to be super young and blonde?
That's a good question, too.
Dumbledore is old, but she's super young and blonde.
Also, I know it's prayer, but it's apparition.
Yeah.
In the book, they take a train. That's less magical than what they did.
I was just thinking that, like, that was a lot like magic. The train less magic.
Like,
I
that's what I'm
just
saying.
they could have just not taken platform 9 3/4.
They just get on a regular train.
Yeah.
How hard's that?
But prayer is magic. Katie, oh my god. Oh god. Reverend Albus Dumbledore and his trophy wife Minerva.
Why can't they just be
friends?
Professors? Why can't she be like the head nun or something? I don't know.
She what do they call oh my god, what do they call the head nuns? Do they call them Reverend Mother? Like the head nun?
It's something Mother. I can't remember.
Yeah, I want to say it's Reverend Mother or something like that. She could just be like the head nun.
I really
well, wait.
I only heard it from Sister Act, so I don't know if that's right.
I get the vibe though from the story that they're not Catholic, and I don't get a Catholic Christian vibe from this.
Yeah, I think it's just
because I think if it was Catholic, I think she'd be calling Dumbledore like Cardinal or Father.
Yeah.
I think this could be like
Orthodox Christian,
Baptist or something. I don't know. Part of me kind of thinks Jehovah's Witness, just because there's such a focus on like how everyone's dressed. I don't know. McGoogles should be a nun. That's what I'm saying. Why does she got to be his wife? That really throws me. I don't know. And she's blonde. That really, I don't know. That just
flowing blonde hair.
I'm just, that is not McGonagall at all. Not at all.
I don't know why you have to change the characters.
Mm-hmm. That's what I mean. Like
I understand. Okay, not the headmaster. Maybe she doesn't teach transfiguration, but
right. Maybe she teaches transfiguration of your soul to love Jesus. I don't know. Maybe the author is blonde. Yeah, I'm thinking that she's a proud housewife, so I don't know. Okay. Oh God. What are they gonna do to Snape? Oh dear Lord. No pun intended there, I guess. Dime silver hair. Chapter 3. Dinner time. Author's note. Hello, friends. I have struggled a lot about whether or not to keep going with this story, but with a lot of praying, my husband and I have decided it is the right thing to do. We want our little ones to have good Christian literature to read, and in this modern world, sometimes that can be hard to come by. So I will just have to make do. Missing out on so many good books. That's all you want to read. Just saying.
Look
at all the blasphemous crap I have back here. It's great.
You want to read Christian literature? By all means, do so. Just don't shelter yourself. Expand your knowledge. Read other things too.
Yeah, I'm sure there's great Christian literature out there, but there's also great secular literature out there. I'm sure there's probably great Hindu literature out there and Muslim literature. It seems like she doesn't like women who are career-oriented and wear no makeup. Yeah, I feel like I get that vibe. She strikes me as very much like a housewife here to serve my family, please my husband, my family is my job kind of thing, and so she would probably hate me.
I got that vibe when they're talking about the Dursleys, and
she talks about Petunia
and Vernon. There you go. Vernon was putting the brownies away, and he was saying, "Isn't that your job, Petunia?"
Right, like shouldn't you be the one in the kitchen?
You mean her job?
Yeah. My God, the Dursleys are actually like the normal people in this story. At least normal to me. For what? Okay. Please. All right. Pleased to meet you, Reverend Dumbledore, Harry replied enthusiastically and got to his feet. This sure is a beautiful place you have here. The Reverend beamed. Why, thank you, little one. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I've been reading Dumbledore wrong, according to this story. The Reverend beamed. Why, thank you, little one. His voice had a distinctive southern twang to it that made Harry feel so safe and welcome. He knew in that moment that the Reverend was a man of God.
Ooh, here's a question. Can you do a Southern British accent? Not like from Southern England, but like Southern British. Southern American, but British. Challenge for you.
I can try. This poor little one was being raised in a terrible situation, Hagrid declared concernedly. He was watched by a babysitter every second of the day. His aunt saw him as a part of the perfect life package. Oh my god, no, the notifications are... Okay. Like the big house, the fancy career, the speedy car. Dumbledore shook his head sadly. Too bad no one ever told her. Parenting should be all about the children, not the parents. That's why it's called parenting.
Kind of sounds like Draco.
This is not easy to do a British Southern accent.
I know. That's why I said it's a challenge. I'm not judging.
Hagrid nodded wisely. Dumbledore turned to Harry and announced authoritatively, Now, you can start your classes tomorrow morning. Today, you'll get sorted into your dormitory. But first, why don't you eat dinner with my family and me? Really? Harry gasped excitedly. I've never had a family dinner before. Why don't you come with us then? Dumbledore cried kindly, and then got down on his knees. Everyone else did the same. Raising his large, massive, manly hands up to the heavens, Dumbledore bellowed in a voice louder than Hagrid's had been. Lord, please take us to the kitchen.
That's really good. Actually, that's spot on how I imagined a Southern British accent.
Yes, I did it. Suddenly, they all found themselves in a tasteful, decorated kitchen. Wow, Harry shouted in awe. He was still getting used to the power of prayer. Sometimes we take the most wonderful things the Lord gives us for granted, and it takes a newcomer to the fold for us to understand how blessed we are. That was amazing. Hagrid smiled knowingly. God is an amazing guy. All right, here's the question. Should McGonagall be straight up Scottish?
What does it say?
No, it doesn't.
Oh. Man, I don't know. Play around with it. You know what? Maybe she should be like Valley Girl housewife.
McGonagall is a Valley Girl housewife.
Yeah, they kind of depicted her that way.
Yeah, all right. Valley Girl housewife? Okay. He sure is, the Reverend's wife chuckled before getting down to her knees and raising her own hands upward. Dear Lord, please set the table with the sky blue cloth and the Sunday dishes, and please give us biscuits fried golden brown and gravy, creamy mashed potatoes, my great aunt Eleanor's corn casserole, corn on the cob slathered with butter, and for dessert, some chocolate raspberry cookies. All of these things appeared on the table exactly as the Reverend's wife had described them, masterfully prepared and delicious smelling. Harry's mouth dropped open. Truly, this woman was a real Proverbs 31 wife.
Is that a thing? Proverb 31 wife?
I don't know what that is, but I feel like I'm... That was house elves.
Yeah.
That was house elves. There's so much about accents. Make some up as we go along for this. Hermione, the Reverend summoned loudly.
Oh, God, Hermione.
Dinner time.
Hang
on, we have a guest who wants to come in. Mispem. 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 Hi, Mispem. Hi, Mispem. Look who's here, everybody. It's Mispem.
Can I sit down?
Oh, it's the Mispem. Look at my lovely pumpkins. Okay. Yeah, you're okay. You're not climbing up there. Don't go up there.
She's destructive. Yeah,
Pants is not like the best behaved of the cats when it comes to being in here. Hermione, the Reverend called loudly. Dinner time. Proverb 31 is about the attributes of a good wife or the ideal woman. Let me guess, be obedient to your husband, be mindful of your children, basically have no life, no personality whatsoever, except to be subservient to everyone else in your life, right? Sorry. That was judgy. That was really judgy. I'm sorry.
Felt that one.
Yeah. Immediately, and with cheerful obedience, an 11-year-old girl in a pretty pink dress with a matching bow came running down the stairs. She ran over to her father and gave him the winning smile that daughters have. "Welcome home, Daddy," she smiled, and then turned to his wife. "Can I help at all with dinner, Mummy?" "It's all prepared, thanks be to God," her mother retorted gracefully.
Or the house elves.
The house elves. Hermione nodded knowingly. "Hermione, I would like you to meet Harry Potter, our newest student in Hogwarts School of Prayer and Miracles," Dumbledore introduced magnanimously. "Harry, I would like you to meet Hermione Granger, my beloved daughter." "Pleased to meet you," Hermione responded sweetly and with a shy grin. Harry could barely respond. This was the most beautiful young woman he'd ever come across, so different from all the girls in public school who were focusing on trying to be like the career women that they saw on Sex in the City. This little one was the picture of innocence and godliness. "Now," Dumbledore pronounced genially, "let's eat." As the holy men, women, and little ones dug into the delicious manna the Lord had granted them, the conversation amongst the adults turned to darker topics. Harry listened intently, and he did not understand it, but he was very interested. "Dark days are coming," Hagrid pronounced gravely around a mouthful of casserole. "Evil forces are coming into this world, and the little ones at Hogwarts may be our last resort." "Psalm 127:5, Dumbledore referenced solemnly, and the others around the table nodded knowingly. Hogwarts may be the last hope for the forces of good in the world.
Why does Hermione have to be his daughter?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why do we have this dynamic?
I don't know. Why Dumbledore? Like, why can't she just be his friend at school? I don't know. Why is she wearing pink? Hermione
asked the people who did the wardrobes for the movie. Yeah. Oh, got you there.
Hermione is not into pink. It's not her thing, man.
McGonagall, I don't think is into Dumbledore like that either, but
yeah, that's true. I don't think they are.
I have a feeling Snape and Lupin aren't going to get together in this story.
Probably not. Sorry, George.
That's disappointing. They seem so happy together.
They did. I don't even know if Snape is going to be in this story. It'd be nice. George. Chapter 4, Dangerous Days Ahead. Author's note. Hello, friends. I apologize for being gone for so long. One of my little ones came down with pneumonia, so of course my life has been nothing but doctor's appointments and chicken soup, and that's on top of all the other work a mommy has to do. I had nearly forgotten about this little story of mine when I sat down to catch up on my email, and lo and behold, there were dozens of messages from this lovely site. Now, of course, there were some hateful messages that made me very sad, but for every review posted by an evolutionist with a bee in his bonnet, there were 3 lovely private messages from other mummies out there thanking me for doing the Lord's work. Wow. I know when the Lord is telling me something. So here is another chapter for all you mummies out there and all you non-believers spreading hatred. Well, let's see if you aren't converted by the time the story is over.
We will see.
We will see. With the delicious filling dinner had ended, Harry wiped some of that last tasty cookie crumbs from the side of his mouth. He was very full and very tired. Discovering the truth, being saved, and coming to Hogwarts, it had certainly been a long day for this little one. You look like you could use a good night's sleep, the Reverend's wife commented daintily. How would you like to move into your dormitory? I would love to, Harry cried cheerfully. He was so excited to become a student here, and he was so grateful for the opportunities the Lord had given him. Sometimes, people who have done without are the most grateful. Hermione, why don't you show our newest student to the dormitory? Dumbledore suggested wisely. I'd love to, Daddy, Hermione replied obediently, with an innocent, girlish smile, and got to her feet and smoothed out the skirt of her becoming pink frock. Should I clean the kitchen first? I don't like Valley Housewife McGoogles. I can take care of that tonight, the Reverend's wife answered indulgently, and she was already beginning to clear the elegant porcelain dishes. Thank you, Mummy, Hermione shouted gratefully, and she walked over to Harry. Would you please come with me? Prime Pants, you're being very destructive right now. You need to...
Yeah, I gotta let her out. She's being old. Crazy.
I love you, Prime Pants, but you're not being a good bum. You're being naughty. You're being naughty. Are you being an evolutionist, Miss Parm? Being naughty. Go, Miss Parm.
She's just not leaving.
Miss Parm, you gotta be good, Parm. Time out. Cat, stay in the corner. She's got to go out. She's gonna knock over the light and maybe. Well, you guys can't see Viserion and Rhaegal and Drogon.
Right. Now, if that doesn't work, we got some catnip we can try.
Yeah, if Parm Pants decides to not leave it alone, we can go for some catnip. That'll be all right. Okie dokie. Thank you, Mummy, Hermione shouted gratefully, and she walked over to Harry. Would you please come with me? Harry blushed shyly and got to his feet. His aunt had never taught him how to talk to pretty girls. She'd always said that pretty girls were shallow and not very smart, and that a real woman put her career first and didn't care about her looks. But it only took one look at this godly young girl to realize just how wrong he was. A woman taking pride in her appearance is honoring the Lord, because after all, it is the Lord who gave her a pretty face and nice hair. Taking care of that is important. Harry got the feeling that Hermione was as beautiful on the outside as she was on the inside.
But wait, that kind of contradicts. Like,
proof right there that this woman is very invested in physical appearances.
Yes. But she just said that girls who worry about their appearance are very, shallow and not intelligent, did it say? And then...
No, pretty girls were... Aunt Petunia always said pretty girls were shallow and not very smart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what she said. The two little ones stepped out into the brisk, chilly night, and for a few minutes they were both silent. Harry didn't think it were possible for this sweet, demure girl to be as nervous as he was, but going by the silence, perhaps she was a little nervous on her own. Yeah, Hermione's obedient, sticky sweetness is very disturbing because it's so not Hermione.
It's very opposite.
It's so not Hermione. Not that Hermione's rude; she's not. But
no, but she's go against the grain and.
Hermione's very independent in who she is,
yeah,
and doesn't give a fig about what anyone thinks. After a few minutes, Hermione welcomed shyly. Welcome to Hogwarts. It is such a wonderful place, and we really are so glad to have you here. Harry's face reddened as they crossed an expansive flowery field. They were going in the direction of a cluster of imposing stone academic-looking buildings. Thank you, he muttered happily. It is beautiful, and it feels very holy. It is, Hermione commented enthusiastically, and her chocolate-colored, carefully curled tresses were bouncing along with her steps. My father is a very godly man, and to spread the word of the Lord is his greatest dream. Truly, that is a noble dream, Harry responded gravely, with wisdom beyond his years. They walked for a few moments in silence. Eventually, they reached the end of the lovely green meadow. The boys' dormitory is this way, Hermione exposited knowingly, and with the innocent casual affection so often found in children, she grabbed Harry's hand as she led him around the edifice of the classrooms. Harry was so nervous, he could not think of anything to say. His brain fumbled for the perfect Christian thing to say, but before he could even manage a word, Hermione came to a stop in front of the tall stone tower. This is the boys' dormitory, the devout young woman explained kindly, and she gestured to the heavy oak door beside them. I would show you inside, but I would hate to cause a scandal. I understand, Harry declared graciously. Too many young men these days pressure young women into things undesired and forbidden. It is the mark of a true old-fashioned gentleman to respect the fact that every young woman is another man's future wife. and we all know that it would be a dreadful, terrible sin to bring another man's wife into intimacy. Why does modern culture suddenly treat that as okay simply because he does not have her yet? Man's laws may permit it, but the laws of the Lord are not bound by time. They're 11.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because he's first time at Hogwarts. So yeah, they're 11.
They're 11.
Why is that even a factor at this point?
I don't know. Hermione moved to push open the imposing large door, but she struggled with the knob. It was quite a heavy door. But Harry was a good, devout Christian now. He could not have a godly young girl struggling to open a door which he was perfectly capable of opening himself. With the simple faith so often seen in little ones, Harry got down on his knees and lifted his hands skyward and shouted prayerfully, "Dear Lord, please open these doors and allow me to enter my new home." With a loud, thunderous boom that echoed through the expansive, beautiful campus, the doors crashed open. Harry stood up piously as Hermione's jaw dropped. Now she knew for certain this truly was a man of the Lord. Harry was about to step inside when Hermione grabbed his arm. He blushed once more. "Wait, Harry," Hermione uttered quickly. "There's something that you should know." "What is it?" Harry queried questioningly. When they say the Lord, the first thing I think of is Voldemort. Me too. Think of the children. "My father says that dark times are coming," Hermione spoke worriedly. "There is a man called Voldemort who wants to destroy all we stand for. He is pushing an agenda in Congress that'll stop us practicing our faith freely." "But that is what our founding fathers built this nation for," Harry cried indignantly. "The freedom of religion." "Voldemort doesn't care," Hermione remarked sadly, and she shook her head. "And he's gaining power. The freedom of Christians to practice our faith is disappearing by the day. Soon it will be like it was in Rome." Lovely, ladylike tears began to roll down her delicate, terrified face. "And I don't like lions." "It'll be all right," Harry reassured her manfully. "We will just need to pray really, really hard. That's why we're here." "You're so brave," Hermione pronounced admirably, and she wiped the tears from her eyes. She flung her arms around Harry's neck. "Thank you for giving me courage." Harry patted her head before departing and entering his new home. It wasn't until the doors had closed behind him that he realized he did not know where he was supposed to sleep. The tower consisted of an old stone staircase winding up the steep, sacred walls, and there were doors leading into every bedroom off the stairway corridor. Harry felt very lost for a moment, but a quick prayer showed him the way. As he collapsed onto his bed, very tired from such an eventful day, he thought about the days that were coming. It was truly a good thing that the Lord had called him when he did.
Harry said manfully.
Yes, Harry said manfully. This is a cult. This has got to be a cult.
Sounds a little bit like it. Because so far we haven't even met any of the other students, and it's run by one family.
That's suspicious.
So far, no teachers.
Not yet. Also, Voldemort is trying to get a law passed through Congress to...
Hermione was a bit different yesterday.
Hermione was a bit different. Oh my God, Jordan, you are so funny. Chapter 5. A New Friend. Author's note. Hello, friends. I'm very sorry if this chapter is a bit shorter than usual, because just as one sick little one gets better, wouldn't you know it, another one starts running a fever. Whew, a mommy's life sure is exhausting. I wasn't planning on posting another chapter until things had settled down, but the hubby says the work of the Lord doesn't wait for the whims of men, so you can all thank Ephesians 5:22 through 24 for the speedy update. Oh, and on that note, some of you lovely readers have requested me to write down the Bible verses after each chapter. Well, far be it from me not to spread the word of the Lord. Another question I've gotten in the literally in quotes, in the original books, Harry Potter and friends frequently question authority. And how do I feel about this? Well, that is quite a toughie you've asked me. I've talked to the hubby about it, and we agree that usually it is good to obey authority. But when authority is acting contrary to the Lord, you should talk to that authority about it. Acts 5:29. You just might see authority figures making bad decisions in this chapter. No one is perfect except the Lord. No, not even Dumbledore. No matter what the original books told you, and how Harry handles this will be a big question in the story. Hint. It will be very different than the original books. And finally, I got a private message from a lovely friend who was a bit confused. So I'll just clear this up for now. I do not own the original books. Those belong to JKR. And without further ado,
All right. First off, they are the original books, not the original books. And second off, Dumbledore is perfect.
Dumbledore's not perfect.
Dumbledore's perfect.
Okay.
You stop.
I'm not sure this story is helping us cleanse either. But I thought it was perfect for a Sunday.
This is like the yin to yesterday's yang.
Yeah, this is so sticky, sweet, and this is like actually disturbing on a deeper level than the other story was, to a degree, in my opinion. This story is like disturbing in a different way to me.
Well, it's yet to be decided for me, but it's odd. I have questions.
Harry Potter woke up drowsily in a comfy, fluffy mattress. It was the other side of the evil coin. Yes, that's kind of how I feel about this. I kind of like the naughty story better. This one's funny, but it was a hat penis. Like, it was great. Sorry, getting off topic again. Harry woke up drowsily in a comfy, fluffy mattress. It was only now that he had the energy to observe his surroundings. The room was small, but also everything a little boy needed. There was a big, warm fireplace in the grey stone wall across from him, a shelf of intelligent, age-appropriate books. The Holy Bible was in the center of the shelf, of course. And there was a simple wood dresser of respectable school-appropriate attire, and of course a clean porcelain sink for washing up and brushing teeth and such.
I'll try the catnip.
We're going to try some catnip, because Perm Pants is relentless. Maybe she wants to...
She wants to spread the word of the Lord.
She wants to spread the word of the Lord. Yeah, this one's funny in like a different way, I think. Like, this one's funny, but not remotely on the same level as like he pumped into her like he was drilling for oil. That's my penis tastes like popcorn. You that's comedic gold that you just can't beat. I don't know how we'll ever top that. I don't know how we'll ever top my immortal either. But this one is I'm glad I found this one. This one's just weird and terrible, and yeah, I think they're all brainwashed too. I know so many great quotes in that story from yesterday. Oh my god.
Oh dear, we're talking about the Sorting Hat.
Yeah, we were talking about it for a minute. We were just doing some comparison between the two stories. It was only then that our hero noticed there was another bed in the room. It was the same as his own bed, except that the other bed had not been made. Also, this bed had its own Bible in it, and it looked different from the one on the shelf. But where was this new roommate of his? Harry looked behind him to see a small, pallid young boy with shockingly bright red hair kneeling in seeming piety as he prayed to a small statue. At this shocking sight, Harry felt a horror, but he quickly composed himself and declared bravely, "Hello, friend. My name is Harry Potter, and I take it that we are roommates. What's your name?" "Ronald Weasley," the other boy responded friendlily, and he reached out a hand to shake. "Welcome to Hogwarts. I'm a Christian too." "Really?" Harry exclaimed delightedly and clasped his hands together. "This is joyous news." Ron smiled deviously, and Harry remembered that he'd just seen the boy praying to a statue, and he wondered why that would be. But he was new to this whole Christianity thing, and maybe this was okay. Still, it didn't feel quite right. He bravely resolved that he would bring it up with Dumbledore. "Would you like to come with me to breakfast?" Ron queried politely, as they got up from the statue he'd been kneeling in front of. "They have delicious food here in the Great Hall." "Would I ever!" Harry cried delightedly, and he bolted out of bed and brushed his teeth and washed his face. This little one certainly had a healthy appetite. Yeah, but Ron was pointing to a statue. Is Ron worshipping false idols?
Oh dear. And his bed's not made?
And his bed's not made. In a jiffy, Harry and his new friend had joined the stream of young lads on the steep, winding stairs going to breakfast. They could smell the aroma of breakfast from the Great Hall, and it wafted right into their noses. Before they knew it, they were all sitting in the Great Hall. "Come sit with me and my family," Ron offered eagerly, and he motioned frantically toward a table packed full of people with hair just as red as his. Come on. I can't wait for them to see that I've made a new friend." Harry followed Ronald with the obedience of one who does not have many friends in a new situation. Oh, what a difficult circumstance that can be, and how many believers have been led astray by those situations. "Hey, guys! Ronald screeched joyously as he pulled Harry toward the table of his family. "This is Harry Potter, and he is my new roommate." "Hello, Harry," the Weasleys chorused in unison. "Welcome to Hogwarts School of Prayer and Miracles." Hello," Harry stammered shyly. Something about this group made him nervous. "Nice to meet you." He sat down at their table. Who could smell a delicious breakfast? Harry could smell a delicious breakfast, but where was the food? No sooner had the thought crossed his mind than the Reverend Dumbledore came into the Great Hall stage and dropped down to his knees and raised his hands skyward and screamed, "Dear Lord, please provide these devout young ones with 3 strips of bacon or links of sausage each, 2 for the ladies, a bowl of hearty oatmeal flavored with cinnamon and apple chunks, 2 poached eggs cooked all the way through, home fries seasoned with garlic, and a glass each of orange juice and milk, and dishes up to task."
They had me until the poached eggs were cooked all the way through.
That's a sin.
I like it on toast, cut it open, and the egg just spreads out.
Yes. Harry was once again amazed to see the food appear in front of him. The food looked and smelled amazing. He suspected good old Minerva had something to do with this delicious spread. Thank you. It's kind of fun to do. I'm not going to lie. How is this any different than Dumbledore waving his wand and going, "Everyone eat," and then poof?
Because Dumbledore isn't doing it. The Lord is doing it.
Well, okay, then I guess.
Who may or may not be Voldemort.
or
Yet to be known.
Or house elves.
Or house elves.
I'm pretty sure it's house elves. This is a fan fiction called Hogwarts School of Prayer and Miracles. Before he dug into his food, he remembered that he had something to discuss with the Reverend. Harry fought his nervousness, and he ran after Dumbledore as he hopped dexterously off the stage. "Excuse me," the young believer cried innocently as he ran after the Reverend as fast as his little legs could carry him. "Excuse me, Reverend." "What is it, son?" the Reverend reiterated kindly. He was dressed respectably in sturdy manly jeans and a red, white, and blue plaid shirt over which a virile... This woman. Dressed respectably in sturdy, manly jeans and a red, white, and blue plaid shirt over which a few virile tresses were visible, and a pair of admirable brown cowboy boots. "Are you settling in all right?" "I sure am," Harry retorted graciously. "How are things with your family?" "Very well," replied Dumbledore knowledgeably, and he was impressed with this little one's manners. "Was there something you wanted to talk to me about?" "Well," Harry began uncomfortably, and he scuffed his blue-snickered foot against the polished wood floor of the Great Hall. "I woke up this morning and saw my roommate praying to a statue. Is that really an okay thing to do?" "That's a real toughie," Dumbledore answered ponderously. "Well, I don't worship idols. It is, in fact, a very unchristian thing to do. But you see, here at Hogwarts, we divide ourselves up into sorting hats. After breakfast, all the new little ones will choose their hats."
Wait, you divide yourself into sorting hats?
"Yes."
No, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
"After breakfast, all the new little ones will choose their hats. Each of the hats have different beliefs, but we all love the Lord. And what more in common do you need?
I wonder what hat Hermione got then.
I also, why do we see Dumbledore's chest hair?
I'm telling you, she has a thing for like cowboys and
hairy
lumberjacks.
Lumberjack men. That does sound true, Harry pondered sensitively. But is it really? It seems that if we all really love the Lord, we don't need to divide ourselves. Are the divisions between the different hats really so significant as to merit dividing Christianity? What are these divisions? Well, they are somewhat significant, Dumbledore allowed tentatively. For instance, I'm a Gryffindor hat. We believe everything in the Bible and only the Bible. That red-headed roommate of yours is a Slytherin hat. And Slytherins worship statues? Harry queried innocently. The Reverend nodded gravely. Then how are they Christian? Harry questioned skeptically. What about Exodus 24-6? That's a 10 commandment. Well, they have different commandments, Dumbledore explained well-meaningly. They love the Lord, and that is all we need. But do they really love the Lord? Harry posited timidly. If they do, then why worship statues? Dark days are coming, Dumbledore replied earnestly. We need to be inclusive. If there are only Gryffindor hats at Hogwarts, then there would not be many people left. I see, Harry conceded, uncertainly as he walked back to Ronald's overcrowded table. He was getting nervous about this hat business, but he supposed he did have to trust Dumbledore. After all, grown-ups know best, right?
Yes, why is Ron a Slytherin?
Why wasn't that like Malfoy?
Right?
I don't think she's read the books and just heard the words sorting ceremony. Yeah, I don't think she understands the sorting hat thing. Of course he's a Slytherin.
I was really interested to see how the sorting hat was depicted in this, too.
Apparently there's different hats. Everyone
just gets a hat.
Chapter 6. Sorting hats.
Oh, here we go.
I'm just picturing a bunch of hats with penises inside of them. I'm sorry. It just... Anyway.
They're crosses.
They're crosses. They're not penises.
This is a wholesome story. You stop that.
How does Harry know the Bible? That's what I'm saying. How does he just know all these Bible verses? I'm a Christian. Now I've read the Bible front to back without having to read it. The hat will never be the same. Author's note. Hello, friends. I apologize to people whose private messages I haven't been able to reply to, but things are awful busy here in Fort Parsons, and a mummy's work has never done. Many thanks to those lovely friends who have asked about the little ones. It looks like the second sickie did not have pneumonia after all, and it was just the flu. It was a rough few days, but how all the little Parsonses are in tip-top shape. Phew! No more hat dicks. Okay, I'll stop. I'll stop. I'm sorry.
That was yesterday.
I know. It's over.
Today is the cleanse.
Today is the cleanse. We thought one hat was bad enough. Oh my God, can you imagine like 1,000 of those hats? Okay, I'm done. I won't do it. I won't do it anymore. Patrolling the halls. Okay, I'll stop. Okay, no more. I swear, I'm done.
Oh, Snape would be busy.
I'm not going to say anything. I can't. I won't. Okay, I'm not going to talk about Snape. I'm not going to do it. I won't do it. Okay, no more. I won't go there. Okay. Oh my God. Harry walked back to the table of redheads. It was only now that he noticed they were all wearing black and green baseball caps with snakes on them. Tentatively, Harry sat down next to Ronald, who was not wearing a hat, since he, like Harry, was new. Baseball hats? baseball hats? I want to see Snape in this story too. I'm like waiting for Snape to be in this story, and it's not happening. And
I'm sure we'll see him soon.
we have to. Come on, he has to be in this story somewhere. So, Harry began nervously, and he bit into a thick, juicy slice of perfectly fried bacon. What sorting hat do you think you'll choose? Oh, I'll definitely choose Slytherin, Ron declared confidently, and began to eat his oatmeal with his hands.
What?
My whole
That's
family's...
hot.
That's hot. My whole family's Slytherins. He gestured to the countless redheads sitting at the table, and they all turned to Harry and smiled and waved. You should become a Slytherin too. We could do it together. Harry uttered ponderously, and he took a bite of eggs. Why don't you tell me about what Slytherins believed? Sure, Ron said ecstatically, and he kept eating his oatmeal. Well, first of all, we believe in the Bible. Well, that is wonderful, Harry reacted happily, and he took a sip of his orange juice. I do as well. Perhaps I could be a Slytherin after all. Oh, but wait, that's not all, Ronald continued excitedly, and washed his oatmeal down with milk. Gryffindor hats believe in the Bible, but Slytherins have even more. We have a book full of guidelines on how to be a good person, and a whole panel of Slytherin hats to tell us what to do. Harry furrowed his innocent, childish brow, and he took another bite of oatmeal, and he questioned confusingly. Why do you need all that if you have the Bible? Ron guffawed, and he shoveled more oatmeal into his mouth, and he replied, Why only have the Bible when you can have more? Why, that would be like only praying to God. Harry gasped in horror as he bit into more bacon. Of course I only pray to God. Who else would I pray to? Well, what about Mary? Ron posited angrily around a mouthful of oatmeal. You have to at least worship her. You mean the mummy of our Lord? Harry demanded in scandal, and he chewed his bacon. I don't worship her. Well, then God hates you, Ron stated simply, and pieces of bacon flew out of his mouth as he did so. Harry was tentative, since he was new to this whole Christianity thing, but he did not think God would hate him for worshipping his mummy. On the contrary, he had a hunch that God wanted people only to worship him. Don't listen to him, commented a drowsy voice self-righteously from behind Harry. Harry turned around and saw a girl around his age. Her pale yellow hair was tied into braids, and she wore a tie-dye shirt and faded jeans and flower in her hair. Peace signs and donkey patches were sewn all over her clothes. His hands. Yeah, I don't know why he's eating the oatmeal with his hands. You should not become a Slytherin hat, the girl continued confidently, and she was eating what looked like was supposed to be bacon, but did not smell or taste like bacon. It missed that smoky, meaty taste that bacon is supposed to have. Instead, it tasted like vegetables blended together and dyed red. Yuck! Harry would take real bacon over that any day of the week. They are far too strict, Harry hummed skeptically. He was not sure about this whole Slytherin business, but the word strict was not what came to mind. You should become a Hufflepuff hat, the girl instructed arrogantly, and continued to nibble at her breakfast. That's what I'm going to do. What do Hufflepuff hats believe in? Harry pondered aloud, and he took a bite of his real bacon. Oh, how he wanted to find the true hat.
Oh, I think you're right. I think it is Cho Chang. I was trying to figure out who it was.
Hufflepuff hats believe in the Bible, but only some of it, she explained casually, and she was feeding on that stuff. We don't believe in the stuff against fornication and drinking and socialism, but we really like Matthew 7:1, and that's about it. We're really fun and seem really nice and really tolerant as long as you agree with us. That was when a derisive laugh echoed through the cafeteria. A smug-looking young man about Harry's age with slicked back hair, even paler blonde than hers, and wearing a sweater vest and khakis, strolled languidly down the rows of tables. I'm sorry.
Oh, goodness. Who is this? Is this Snape?
Please, ignore this fool, Draco drawled smugly. Cho here thinks she can have a career even though she's a woman, and women are stupid.
Oh my god.
Harry gaped
And
at
this was written by a woman.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Harry gaped at this horrible person. What a mean thing to say. Women should not have careers because women are stupid, Harry shouted indignantly. Women are not stupid at all. Women should not have careers because women are nurturing and loving and their gifts serve them best in the home. This whole story is sexist. Draco gasped tentatively. You're diluting the truth. Women are beneath men. No, I'm not, Harry fired back bravely. You're twisting the truth so you can be mean with it. Women are not beneath men. Men and women are just different. The girl smiled at him gratefully. Draco was clearly fumbling for ground here. There is not much ground to stand on when you are being hateful, but he finally came up with, well, at least I don't eat with Slytherin hats. I hate Slytherins. The irony of that statement.
Oh, God. So, well, she has a 50% rate right now. Harry's going to be a Gryffindor, most likely. Cho Chang's a Hufflepuff. We think it's Cho Chang.
Ron's a Slytherin.
And everyone's blonde except the Weasleys, apparently.
Yes. I think Slytherin hats are supposed to be like Catholic. I think because they worship Mary too. I think they're Catholics. Anyway. Thank you, Harry, Ron whispered tearfully. Well, you should just become a Slytherin, or you should just become a Ravenclaw hat, like me, Draco sputtered blusteringly. We really are the best hat. I think you mean we are the most hateful hat, Harry corrected cleverly. Then he jumped onto the table, got down on his knees, then raised his hands to the ceiling of the Great Hall, and he bellowed, Dear Lord, I've made my decision. I am a Gryffindor hat.
Oh my god. It's like she hasn't read the books.
I don't think she has. That's what a lot of these people who were like, no, it's witchcraft. I'm not letting my kids read these. They didn't read them. They have no idea. Draco hates women. Jesus.
And Slytherin.
Yeah, he hates Slytherin. What the heck?
And everyone's blonde.
Even Harry has blue eyes.
Yeah. Did they say Harry was blonde too?
They didn't talk about Harry's hair.
Oh, okay.
But they said he had blue eyes.
I'm sure his hair isn't messy in this story, though.
No, I'm sure it isn't. The only character that's blonde that's supposed to be blonde is Draco.
Still upset about Ron.
Being a Slytherin.
Yeah.
And eating oatmeal with his hands.
That's what got me. Like, why?
Yeah, I guess women shouldn't have careers either way, whether or not you think it's because they're beneath them or because your ideology has brainwashed you into thinking that your only purpose on this planet is to have babies and take care of a house. Which is fine if that's what you choose to do. That's fine. If that's what you want in life, that's cool. But if you want something else in life, you should be allowed to do that too.
Yeah. It's a great thing about life. You got choices.
Right. Free will is a thing. Chapter 7, Wheat and Chaff. Author's note. Hello, friends. Phew, this chapter took longer to write than I thought it would. There is so much to be done at Fort Parsons some days, I don't think I'll ever get caught up. But now the little ones are sound asleep, I'm finally getting around to putting the finishing touches on this little chapter. I apologize for the delay. Now, there have been quite a few questions and comments coming in, and I thought I should take some time to address a few, since I don't have a time to apply individually. First of all the mummies, to all the mummies who have expressed their appreciation of this little story of mine, thank you. Your support keeps me writing. Remember, though, the glory is not mine, it is the work of a greater cause. And people who call me names, a Bible-believing Christian is like a big ugly monster who lives under a bridge and wanting... That's kind of funny. And wanting everyone to do the right thing and go to heaven makes one a so-called bigot. Well, that's this modern word for you. And finally, to the people who say that I'm spreading hate, Take a look at some of the comments posted here, saying that I'm a terrible writer and a terrible mother whose children will hate her one day. Who is it who's spreading hate here? Because I don't think it's me.
Oh, I will give her one thing. Maybe...
Right? A troll. I know. That's what I thought, too. It's just like, ah!
I will give her one thing. She is a decent writer. And that might just be because we've read such terrible stories.
She's not.
She's not great.
No, because every time someone speaks, it's like they said bravely and delicately. They queried inquisitively. Manfully. Like, that's terrible. That's bad.
Oh, there was another one. I can't remember it. She described something I thought was great. But yeah, manfully sticks with me. Manfully.
Do you do things manfully?
Always.
Oh my God, if you wore plaid, she'd be all over you. I mean, your chest hair is like sticking out of your shirt.
I guess a little bit, yeah. I'll have to get a cowboy hat, some cowboy boots.
Yeah, you'll have to dress the part next time. The Great Hall burst into applause as a red and yellow baseball cap with a lion embroidered on the front appeared on Harry's head. He hopped deftly off the table and landed on his little feet. He could feel the love of the Lord surging through him, and he knew he'd made the right decision. He was even more sure of his decision when Hermione dashed across the cafeteria to give him a big, spontaneous hug. She too was sporting a red and yellow baseball cap, although her cap had a kitten on it instead of a lion. Really? You're bringing cats into this now and being sexist with cats?
Not even like a lion cub.
Or a lioness. No, it's a kitten. That like pissed me off more than that like set me off right there. Now you're bringing cats into this situation.
Relax, calm down. It's okay.
What?
Nope.
Katie, oh, now it is personal now. You brought cats into it. Also, like, the Slytherin thing too. I'm just like, as a Slytherin, I just don't know how to feel about all of this.
Ooh, I wonder what the other house's animals are going to be if she changes them or not.
Like, what do the Slytherin girls' hats have on them? Baby snakes? Like, I don't know. I'm so happy, Harry, she cried gladly, delicate tears streaming down her face. When I saw you eating with that family, I was so scared. I thought you might become a Slytherin. Never worry about that, Harry declared boldly and bravely. I am a Gryffindor, now and forever. Well chosen, Dumbledore declared approvingly as he took long, energetic strides across the crowded, noisy room. Welcome to Gryffindor Hat, Harry. Harry beamed happily. Truly he had been blessed. As he sat down to finish his breakfast and he was still glowing from joy, he sat back next to Ronald. Will you still be my friend, even though you're a different hat? Ron asked timidly. Of course, Harry declared generously, and began to eat his eggs. He had expected his eggs to be cold by now, what with all of the hullabaloo, and behold, they were still piping hot. He would not pretend that what Ron believed about worshipping the dead, but he could still offer the young boy friendship in the spirit of Matthew 2:16-17. The eggs are still hot?
I guess so.
That's kind of like
a miracle.
Magic.
No, it's a miracle.
Yeah, I think they are the only good guys in this story. Thank you, Harry, Ron uttered happily. He may have been sporting a green and black hat with a snake on it, which testified to his Slytherin beliefs, but he could recognize Harry's pure-hearted godliness, generosity, humility, and innocent goodness. He looked around at his siblings, all of them wearing identical hats to his, and he wondered why none of them were like that. If that isn't magic, I don't know what is. Right? Oh, it's been like a half an hour. My eggs are still hot. To quote Lockhart, it's just like magic.
Oh, I hope Lockhart's in this.
Oh, that would be so great. He's a Bible salesman.
He already has the blonde.
I know, he's got the look.
He's perfect.
He is. Attention, students. Reverend Dumbledore announced authoritatively as he hopped up onto the stage and he held the microphone by his mouth. Congratulations on picking your hats, he continued kindly. I am sure you've all chosen wisely. Harry hummed to himself. He knew that the Reverend meant well, but was it really doing the members of the other hats much good to tell them that everything was the same when it wasn't? Wouldn't they all be happier if they knew to read the Bible and take it seriously? Dumbledore thought he was making everyone happy, and perhaps he was in the short term, but in the long run, Harry worried that he was doing more harm than good. Harry didn't say anything because he was new to the flock and didn't feel confident in his connection with the Lord. But sometimes it takes newcomers to point out the flaws we don't see in our communities. The Reverend clapped his hands against each other once, and then he spoke enthusiastically. Now, you will be sharing most of your classes with the other members of your hat, so it would be good for you to get to know them now. Ravenclaw hats, please gather round for Mr. Moody. Hufflepuff hats, please gather around for Mr. Sprout.
Mr. Sprout?
Yeah. I can't handle this. Slytherin hats, please gather round for Mr. Finnegan. And Gryffindor hats, please gather round for Mr. Snape.
Snape, you Gryffindor, you.
Snape is a Gryffindor and Ron is a Slytherin and Draco is a Ravenclaw. What is happening?
At least they got Sprout right.
I hate this. No, because Sprout's a dude.
Okay, fair. Touche. They got half the name right.
Snape's a Gryffindor. Plot twist. I know! Maybe they didn't sort too soon this time. I don't know. Ugh. I'm so disgusted. I can't take it. Ugh. I am more offended by this story than the Sorting Hat story, I swear to God.
I really thought you were going to say Mrs. Filch was the head of Slytherin at first. When you started saying Finnegan, I was like,
oh.
Filch. Filth.
No, they're all men. It's Mr. Sprout, Mr. Moody, Mr. Finnegan.
Maybe she was thinking of Filch.
Maybe she was thinking of Filch. I don't know. Mr. Filth and Mrs.
Norris.
Filth and Mr. Norris. And Mr. Snape. So yeah, I bet there will be no women teachers either. I feel like they're all the women potentially will be like Mr. Sprout's wife, Mr. Moody's girlfriend, whatever. Now at the beginning of the breakfast table, Harry had noticed a tall, mysterious-looking man with long dark hair and gaunt, enigmatic features. He was dressed... Oh, Lord. Yeah, she gender-swapped Sprout because a professor can't be a woman, because a woman should be at home. I know. I'm offended by this.
Oh, God, this is getting serious now.
And Minerva is a blonde housewife who does nothing. It
seems like all the women professors are becoming housewives. So, who do you think Snape's wife is going to be in this?
If Snape is married, I'm going to be upset. It's not true to his character. Heaven forbid women be educated. That's what I'm saying. Like, heaven forbid a woman has a degree and does something with her brain other than decide what the hell to make for dinner one night. He was dressed stylishly in a crisp black suit, and his tie made a shock of red in an otherwise totally black outfit. Okay. All right. Hang on. I'm going to backtrack and read this again, and you guys tell me if this makes any sense to you. Okay? He was dressed stylishly in a crisp black suit, and his tie made a shock of red in the otherwise totally black outfit. The dark hair on his pale chest was neatly trimmed, but still noticeably thick, and he wore elegant black leather shoes on both of his feet. It was now that he noticed on the table that this man was sitting at was a placard that said, Mr. Snape, Harry followed the other brave young children wearing Gryffindor hats.
She has a thing with chest hair.
I know. Katie's like, what's with the chest hair? I don't know.
So I'm just kind of picturing him having maybe just a vest on, and a jacket and no like shirt, and then a tie.
The fuck does the tie part mean? That's what I mean. He's wearing a suit and tie, but you can see that his chest hair is neatly trimmed.
This is subtly just as bad as the Sorting Hat.
Hagrid must be her favorite character because he's like the hairiest dude in the whole series. Maybe she's writing her husband. That's what I'm thinking. I'm wondering if all of these male characters are her husband, and her husband is like this hairy cowboy-looking dude
with a thick country accent.
Yeah.
Kind of picture it as I can't remember the actor's name, but in Knives Out, the detective.
Daniel Craig.
Yes, Daniel Craig. That accent.
She can never meet you. She'll try.
I don't have the accent, and I don't dress up like a cowboy, so I think I'm okay.
But if you took your shirt off, it might be enough.
Maybe. But thank God we will never know.
Yes. Yes. Oh, Knives Out is so good. It's so funny. You should watch it. Oh my God, I love that movie.
The movie's amazing.
And I think it's on Prime right now. I think you can watch it on Prime.
Yeah.
This doesn't make sense. Yeah. I don't know.
We are just as confused as you at this point.
Chapter 8. Refreshing Honesty? ? Author's note. Hello, friends. Things have finally calmed down here a bit at the Parsons, and I'm excited to share with you all another new chapter. One thing I would like to talk about, though, many people have been calling me a misogynist. That means woman hater. Friends, I do not hate women. I am a woman. Now, what is it I have done for people to be calling me this? Well, apparently it is saying that women are loving and nurturing and good. Right? How hateful. I'm just a big old mean bigot, huh? Wait, wrong. That is not a bigoted thing to say at all. Now, it is certainly true that what is written in the Bible about women was used as an excuse to actually be hateful to women, and that is terrible. And there are some people out there that think all women are stupid or less than men. Friends, this is not what I believe at all. I believe that women have special gifts that are no less than men. In fact, I think that if womanly virtues were respected more, the world would be a much better place to live. And any of those so-called Christians who hate women and think women are stupid and worth less than men, and that God doesn't respect us, well, they will all get a very serious talking to from a certain housewife. Now, does that sound misogynistic to you?
A little bit.
This woman's brainwashed. Right, loving, good, nurture, as long as you don't educate yourself and go out into the world and have a career.
Why not do both?
I just want her to say in the author's notes, fangs, friends. Get it? Because I'm goth. Yeah, good times. Good times. Harry Potter walked nervously over to the table of Mr. Snape. The other little ones wearing red and yellow hats did the same. Mr. Snape silently stood up and motioned with his head for both the boys and the girls to follow him, and he sauntered out to the Great Hall. He led them into a small classroom with a few desks in it. He silently motioned for the little ones to sit down at the desks. They did. He stood up at the blackboard in front of them. Welcome to Hogwarts School of Prayer and Miracles, greeted the older, but still handsome in a dignified, rugged way, amicably. Snape isn't ruggedly handsome, but okay.
His chest hair would say otherwise.
I guess so. The little ones all sat in respectful attention. So you have all chosen the Gryffindor hat? Mr. Snape queried, and he raised his eyebrows. Yes, Mr. Snape, chorused all the students together. Well, Mr. Snape said, and he drew his tall, strapping form up to its full, impressive height.
Oh, man. I hope Slytherins have baseball caps. I hope the Gryffindors have cowboy hats for their hats.
No, they're baseball hats. Everyone wears baseball hats.
Oh, darn.
I would like to say that your choosing will make you happy or that your lives will be easy, but I will not lie. There are dark forces in the world and they do not like Christians. And when I say Christians, I mean Gryffindor hats. They love the Hufflepuff hats because the Hufflepuff hats believe everything people say and slap the label Christian onto that philosophy, and so the Hufflepuff hats make it easier. The Ravenclaw hats these people claim not to like, but then they pretend that the Ravenclaw hats' extremism applies to all Christians, so the Ravenclaw hats help them. Harry frowned confusedly. After the Reverend's acceptance of all the hats, he wondered why Mr. Snape was addressing things so directly. He found Mr. Snape's honesty refreshing, but he also wondered, was the honesty also combined with the hate for others that he'd seen in Draco's hat? He thought the other hats were wrong, but he did not want Mr. Snape to hate them for being wrong. He just wanted to help them. And then, of course, there is the Slytherin hats. The Slytherin hats will tell you we are all on the same side because they agree with Gryffindor hats on some things. Do not be fooled. Their leader is working with Voldemort. A shocked, horrified gasp echoed through the classroom. Harry clapped his hands over his mouth in an attempt to contain his horror, but he was still shocked. His new friend not only worshipped a goddess, but he was also now in cahoots with Voldemort. The little ones all gasped again. This time they were even more terrified. From the back of the room, a clean-cut, respectably dressed young boy raised his hand. But what about the Constitution? Dean Thomas questioned accurately. Doesn't he care about the First Amendment? Mr. Snape shook his head sadly. I'm afraid not. And Voldemort is working through him and using them all. Before long, all our freedoms will be gone. Dean Thomas raised his hand again and queried coherently, but why does Voldemort hate Christians so much? No one knows, Snape responded tentatively. However, he is on the move and he is gaining power, and we Gryffindor hats may be the only ones capable of stopping him. Harry was nervous, but he clenched his fist determinedly. He was scared, but he was ready to face this evil. Pray for the other hats.
Oh, God. Well, I mean, they kind of got Snape's personality down, at least.
A little bit. He should have, called them all dunderheads at least once, though. So, is Voldemort just asking that they teach evolution in the school and to not teach Christian things in school and stuff like that?
I believe so. So Voldemort is not some all-powerful Lord Wizard. He's a politician.
This is great. Voldemort is I'm just gonna say it. Voldemort is a Democrat. I don't know what else to say.
Voldemort's Bernie Sanders.
Voldemort's Bernie Sanders.
Oh.
Right? Voldemort doesn't seem like a bad guy. Right? He's Bernie Sanders in this story. Oh my God.
Why is Snape kind of nice? I don't know. I just don't know.
This is a comedy and an insult to Harry Potter. I would agree to that. This is, yes. Chapter 9, A Letter at Dinner. Author's Note. Hello, friends. I apologize for how long it took to get this chapter out, but I have good news. Starting tonight, I will be taking a beginning writers course at the local community college. Through all the hate from the evolutionists, feminists, and Romanists, there's been some legitimate criticism of my writing skills. My mother did her best, and she certainly did teach me a lot, but grammar was not her area of expertise. It's taking some convincing. The hubby wasn't sure I'd have time to get everything done if I started taking this class, but I've written up a schedule and I think we can make it work.
This reminds me so much of My Immortal, especially with the author's notes. Just replace evolutionist with preps.
She just admitted that she had to ask her husband pretty much for permission to take a class.
I mean, at least she's going to do it, though.
Yeah, but if he said, well, you don't have enough time to get everything done in the house, so no. She'd just have been like, okay.
I'm trying to be optimistic here.
McGoogles. 1 week into the school year, Harry was gradually starting to get used to the everyday routines at Hogwarts School of Prayer and Miracles. There was breakfast in the Great Hall every morning, and then there was a prayer session led by the Reverend. The Slytherins went off to have their own prayer sessions in their own way, and the Hufflepuffs and Ravenclaws prayed with the Gryffindors, but the Hufflepuffs complained about the Reverend quoting the Bible, and the Ravenclaws complained that the Reverend didn't seem to really hate sinners, he just hated sin. After the prayer session, the little ones all went to their classes. There were regular math and English classes, of course, though they were of a higher caliber than one would find at a public school, and then there were Bible studies and Christian history. After that was lunch in the Great Hall. After lunch were more classes about American history and constitutional law and missionary training. After these classes was dinner in the Great Hall, after which the students had free time. Notice they do not take any science classes.
Well, that doesn't teach them Christianity. That's what they're fighting against.
It just hurts me.
That's what...
I know.
That's what the Bark Lord is trying to teach them.
The Bark Lord is trying to, and his death dealers. He wants them to know science. My music teacher would splash us with holy water. Jesus!
Oh God, that's... Wait, like when you were bad,
She
or
would hate me
just
too.
when you walked into the room, was she just standing in the doorway and just, like purified you as you came in or something?
This author would definitely hate me too, trust me. It was just such a dinner that Harry was eating now. He was sitting with his new friends, Hermione, Ronald, and Dean Thomas. The food certainly is delicious, Harry observed gratefully, and he was favouring a bite of perfectly roasted chicken. It really is, Dean Thomas concurred intelligently. He was dressed quite respectable today, and he was wearing a button-up shirt and clean blue jeans, and his hair was neatly combed.
Oh, when you sinned?
Oh, jeez. I'm so sorry. Hermione nodded in agreement, and the yellow bow she'd tied back in her hair with bounced up and down. Ronald grinned widely, but remained silent as he shoved another handful of deep-fried Brussels sprouts into his little mouth. Ron ate breakfast and lunch with his family, but he was eating more and more dinners with these Gryffindor friends of his. It never ceased to amaze him just how nice they were to him, even though he wore a different hat. A little unconditional friendship can really go a long way in a person's heart. It was then that a bunch of beautiful people with wings... It was just then that a bunch of beautiful people with wings wearing glowing white robes swooped in through the Great Hall's huge windows. Yellow halos hovered over their heads, and they wore brown leather sandals around their satchels round their shoulders. They gracefully reached into their satchels and gloriously flung envelopes down to the students below. The mail's here, Dean Thomas observed accurately as he shielded his eyes with his hands as he gazed up in wonder. Harry propped his chin up on his hand and dreamily watched these magnificent postmen deliver their wares. He did love to look at angels.
Why couldn't you do owls?
He was surprised when
magic.
Angels deliver the mail. You couldn't just let the owls do it. He was surprised when a letter fluttered down to him and it landed lightly on the table in front of him. He'd never gotten a letter before. He smiled innocently at the angel who delivered it, and the angel waved back. "Would you look at that?" Dean Thomas uttered fluently. Uttered fluently? Holy Hedwig! With excited hands, Harry broke the seal and took out the parchment that was inside the envelope. He laid it out on the table and saw the familiar slanting, tidy handwriting. Dear Harry, how are you enjoying your first week at Hogwarts? I hope you're enjoying it a lot. How about you come over for tea this evening after dinner and you can tell me about it? Hagrid. Harry smiled as he folded the letter and put it back in the envelope. Good old Hagrid. What does it say, Harry? Hermione questioned shyly, and she played with one of her smooth, lovely curls. Hagrid wants me to come around for tea, Harry reported excitedly. Would you like to join me? I'd love to, Hermione replied sweetly. That sounds like fun, Dean Thomas responded eloquently.
Fluently and eloquently.
Dean Thomas is a master wordsmith. Could I come? Ron asked tentatively after he'd swallowed his Brussels sprouts. Harry, Hermione, and Dean Thomas exchanged a knowing look, and then Harry answered kindly, Of course you can. Ron smiled gratefully before going back to his Brussels sprouts. When dinner was finished, Harry got to his feet and then declared boldly, Let's go!
It makes me uncomfortable how forthcoming Hermione is.
Yeah, it's weird.
Twirling her hair. Can I come?
Can I come, Harry?
You're 11. Stop it.
Also, Dean Thomas is like their best friend, and Ron is like
I don't even know what he's kind of like Neville. He's the Neville of the story. Well, no, not even. What is Ron?
I don't know, but I was hoping for more Draco Malfoy because that was funny. Where's Draco Malfoy?
He's repenting for his sins.
Chapter 10. Dangerous days are here. Author's note. Hello, friends. Sorry this chapter took so long to post, but the instructor of my new writing class was kind enough to proofread it. I didn't take all of his suggestions, but I liked most of them, and I hope the wait was worth it. Oh, another thing. A few good-intentioned, but misguided, readers have expressed concern about my asking my husband's permission to take a class. Friends, it is not long ago that I would have thought the same thing. Culture told me that wifey submission was demeaning, and I believed it. All I say is this. Read Created to Be His Helpmeet by Debbie Pearl. Life and Marriage.
Helpmeet?
Life changer. Helpmeet. It says helpmeet. M-E-E-T. M-E-E-T.
Okay. Okay, thank you for specifying.
I know, it's a helpmeet. How to be your husband's helpmeet.
Okay.
He's picturing a meatloaf in a wig.
What the? Why a meatloaf?
I don't know. I'm crying.
Oh my god, you're really crying.
I know.
Okay. Let it out.
I'm sorry, everybody. Oh. 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 Okay. Oh, Hufflepuff is cool. I'm so sorry. That's terrible. That's awful. Oh, just think about meatloaf in a wig. It'll be better. Okay. All right. Oh.
Meatloaf, the most helpful meat.
created to be his helpmeet. Meatloaf would be her ultimate man. Oh my god! I didn't even think about that connection. Oh my god. Hagrid lived in a lovely little house on the edge of the... What are you making me laugh for? Come on, I was ready.
I'm sorry, it was just the way you did it. It was so...
Hagrid lived in a lovely little house on the edge of Hogwarts campus. The little ones arrived right on time, and the delicious smell of tea and cookies was wafting outside. Smiling in anticipation, they knocked on the door. Yeah, I'm okay. Oh, man.
Caught you off guard.
I wasn't ready for that. No, I was just losing it. Oh, maybe the video did freeze for a second. I didn't notice. I don't know. I was just dying from laughing. Battle through the laughter. Welcome, Harry. I'm so glad you could come. And you brought friends. Indeed I did, Harry said, and gestured to the upstanding fellow to his left. This is Dean Thomas, a Gryffindor hat. Pleased to meet you, Dean Thomas said intelligently. Hagrid smiled at the little one, impressed. This is Hermione, another Gryffindor hat, Harry said, motioning to the girl to his right. Hermione smiled shyly and waved. Charmed, Hagrid waved back. And this is Ronald, Harry said. Ronald looked up sheepishly from where he stood behind the trio. He could sense that Hagrid was truly a man of the Lord in a way that no one in his family, or perhaps the entire Slytherin hat, was. To be in the presence of such piety was humbling for such a little one as this. Hagrid noticed the green and black hat, but didn't comment. Instead, with true mercy and compassion, he opened the door wide to all of them. Glad to meet all of you. Please come in. The 4 little ones filed in. The inside of Hagrid's house was tastefully decorated. The curtains were plaid, the walls were wood, and a bare rug covered the floor in front of the fireplace. Mounted above the mantelpiece, in a place of pride for all to see, was a moose's head. The oaken table at the center of the kitchen was set for 5, and the kettle on the stove was just starting to sing. This is a nice place you have, Harry commented. It really is, Dean Thomas said intelligently. Hagrid grinned with pride. Ain't you? I live by John 15:19, of course, but I try to keep it tidy. Harry, Dean Thomas, and Hermione nodded knowingly. In a few moments, they were all seated at the table while Hagrid passed out his famous chocolate chip cookies. They munched on the delicious morsels as Hagrid poured the tea. How's school going? Hagrid asked. Quite well, Harry replied, and then the timer buzzed. More cookies! The little ones cried in delight as Hagrid got up to get them. While Hagrid was getting the cookies, Harry's eye fell on a newspaper that Hagrid had left open. The headline on the front page read, Voldemort spotted at Hogwarts? Would you look at that? Dean Thomas murmured observantly, picking up the paper and scanning it. As he read, he whispered the article's terrible words. Voldemort was spotted by several students yesterday at Hogwarts School of Prayer and Miracles. This is the man who is trying to put a bill through Congress to stop Christians from practicing their beliefs. If passed, homeschooling will be illegal. Christians will be put in jail, maybe even killed, unless they say the Bible says what Voldemort wants it to say. Saying Merry Christmas or hanging up the 10 Commandments will put you in a re-education program. I'm sorry, like they did, like Christians do to gay people.
God, that escalated quickly. They don't want to teach you Christianity in schools, and they might kill us. Okay.
When Dean Thomas was finished, Hermione burst into tears. Harry gave her hair an innocent, friendly pat. How could anyone be so angry at God? Hermione sobbed. I don't know, Harry declared tentatively. He's a horrible person. Dean Thomas nodded sagely and muttered to himself in disgust. First they try to change the Pledge of Allegiance. Now they don't want us to be Christians. Next they'll be killing us all. It really is a bad time to be a true Christian in America. Ronald sat in guilty silence as he watched his new friends, fearing for the future.
Hogwarts isn't in America.
He was beginning to wonder just what sort of hat he had chosen. Yeah, Hogwarts isn't in America. I've been reading this British the whole time, and apparently we're in America.
Apparently you should have been reading with a southern accent
This whole time.
Everyone in a southern accent. I don't like how emotional Hermione is. She just breaks down in tears.
She literally just cries all the time in this story. That's all she does. I want Voldemort to save the day and rescue these children from this cult.
Oh, man. How you could switch it up so that Voldemort is the one you're rooting for.
I know, right? Who knew I'd be like, yes, Voldemort, win the war. Yeah, American history. Yeah, I know. It's very weird to, I don't know. Should I just change it up now? I feel like I've been just doing British for so long. I think we have time for one more chapter, and then we probably ought to hop off.
One more chapter? All right. How many chapters are in the story altogether?
Actually, there's only 14 chapters, it looks like.
What are we on?
11.
11? I mean, we might be able to finish it.
Yeah, maybe we can finish it.
We're on 11.
We're on 11.
We'll
we can finish the story. All right, so should I switch it up? Should I go American with this? Or Southern accent with this?
Let's try for one chapter and see how it feels.
Okay. All right.
And then we can go from there.
Chapter 11, a challenge. Author's note. Hello, friends. The writing class is going quite well, and I stayed after this time to talk to the teacher about my little story, which he's been so kind about helping me with. He has lots of very helpful suggestions, and I truly think that I may have been guided to this class by a purpose greater than my own. Another thing that I've gotten many messages about, the Slytherins. People are saying that somehow this means I hate Catholics. Friends, I do not hate Catholics at all. All I want is for Catholics and everyone else to go to heaven and be happy with God. Do you know who truly hates Catholics? The so-called Catholic Church. Ironic, But think about it. Why else would they lie to Catholics about salvation? And did you know their leader is a socialist? It seems like a certain someone doesn't know about the Bible or the Constitution. And what about there only being one God and no others? If any Catholics are reading this, I'm asking you this in love. Consider what is most important. Your so-called religion or the truth. Harry, Hermione, Dean Thomas, and Ronald all walked solemnly back to the main campus. They could hardly believe what they just read. Voldemort on their campus? What would they do if they ran into him? They quickly went to their dorms and got to sleep. Yes, because that's what I would immediately do. If the Bark Lord was coming, that is exactly what I'd do. Oh, I better go to sleep.
It's like when you're 5. As long as you're under the blankets, nothing can get you.
I guess so.
Just don't let your feet dangle over the side of the bed or something might reach up and grab you.
The next morning, the 4 little ones sat together for breakfast. The spread today was truly delicious. Fluffy scrambled eggs, crispy bacon, home fries, grits, waffles, apples, orange juice, and iced tea. Truly, the blessings today were abundant. I still can't believe Voldemort's been seen on our campus, Harry whispered after swallowing a bite of bacon. Neither can I, Dean Thomas commented perceptively. I'm scared, Hermione murmured and fidgeted with her fork. What if it tries to kill Harry? It'll be fine, Harry declared boldly. Then he gave her hand a reassured squeeze, and then they both blushed. What are you two gossiping about? A voice said. It was smug, and it came from behind them. Harry turned around. He saw Draco standing behind him. Draco's hands were folded and rested on his stomach. Behind him stood 2 other young men, dressed the same as Draco, tan pants, brown sweater vests, and white button-up shirts. We were just discussing something we read in the newspaper, Harry said friendlily. Would you like to join us? Draco chortled pompously. Sorry, I switched a little bit there. It's hard with the. I associate Harry Potter so much with Britishness. It's hard to be a Southern Harry Potter person. Hello, Scott.
Welcome to the channel.
I think not. You may be comfortable dining with women outside your family, but I'm not. I know that I'm better than women. Why would I want to talk to one? Wow, just again with the sexism. Harry gritted his teeth. He'd had enough of this. So-called feminists these days call everything sexist. A man respecting his woman and providing for her and giving her the children and home that she truly desires is called woman-hating. Such silliness can make us forget what real sexism looks like. The truth is, women are just as smart as men, and God made us as their equals. But equal does not mean the same. And when we go treat men and women as being the same and tell women to go work all day and forget about their true calling as a wife and mother, that is real women hating. And then there are people like Draco who think that God messed up and made women worse than men, and neither is okay.
Everything's so contradicting here. It's like women or men are equal, but women should stay. It's like that scene in the interview. We are same, but different, but still same.
Replace muggle hating with sexism. For real.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. That is a mean thing to say. Oh, sorry, that's Harry. I thought it was Hermione. That is a mean thing to say, Harry screamed bravely, and he banged his fists on the table so hard that the plates bounced. Mr. Snape looked over in their direction, and he saw the commotion that was going on in that moment. He was dressed very dapperly today in a freshly pressed dress shirt and practical pants that complemented his long, muscular legs perfectly. Above the top button of his shirt, a hint of the thick black carpet underneath was visible. He carried with him a heavy King James version of the Bible as he sauntered across the cafeteria. Not only does Snape have chest hair, it's a carpet of chest hair.
Oh, his chest carpet.
His chest carpet. What exactly is going on here? He questioned, folding his arms over his chest. Nothing, Draco muttered in the embarrassed voice of one who knows he's done wrong. But Harry boldly and honestly retorted, Draco was being a bully to the ladies. With a gasp, Greg covered his mouth with delicate, long-fingered hands. Detention, Draco. We are Christians. We must be respectful of women and treat them with the gentleness they deserve as our mothers and sisters and daughters. Mr. Snape grabbed Draco's wrist and led him out of the cafeteria. Harry smiled holily at the sanctimonious fool. Draco shook his fist. I'll get you for this, Potter. Tonight, after dinner, in the courtyard, we'll have a pray-off.
A pray-off? Oh, yeah, we can't stop here. Now I need to know. What is a pray-off?
I don't know. You can't stop here. The author wants a magic chest carpet ride. Oh, my God.
Oh, my
God. That's great. Oh my God, that's great.
Snape could show you the world.
Snape has a chest carpet. I know. I don't know how to feel about this. Voldemort better come soon. That's all I have to say.
Do you think he's the bad guy because he has no hair?
Plot twist. Because Voldemort is a naked
Yeah.
boy. That's why he's bad.
He has no hair, so obviously he can't be good.
Chapter 12. Author's note. Hello, friends. I had this chapter all ready to go a week ago after class last Saturday, but then, of course, things got in the way like they always seem to. But now that things have slightly settled down here at Fort Parsons, I thought I'd finally post this. The fact that she calls her house Fort Parsons is really weird to me.
At first, when she was saying it, I was trying to think,
like maybe
where is Fort Parsons?
Like they were military.
Yeah.
No, she's just a weirdo. Like, okay. The campus was dark when Harry, Hermione, Dean Thomas, and Ronald walked out of their dormitories. It was completely silent because all the other little ones were asleep. The bright shining stars twinkled approvingly at the righteous Christian trio. I'm nervous, Ronald uttered shakily. Isn't this against the rules? Harry, Dean, Thomas. It's always Dean Thomas. Harry, Dean Thomas, and Hermione exchanged a knowing look. It wasn't Ronald's fault. It was just how he'd been raised. Slytherin hats do not usually question authority. They think they just need to do what the head Slytherin hats tell them to do. They never think that maybe the Lord's work is important. This is the Lord's work, Harry explained patiently. This is most important. That's right, Dean Thomas said wisely, and not a single word was mispronounced. He had dressed quite respectably for the occasion. His face was scrubbed quite cleanly. Any mommy would have been proud to have him for a son. The Parsons Christian Academy. Oh my God. Where? I wonder if there's a connection.
Ooh.
Oh, Ronald muttered wonderingly. He never thought that anything would be more important than following rules, not even the Lord's work. Ronald was starting to ask the big questions, questions that just might lead him to salvation. Just think what would have happened if Harry had not known to love the sin and not the sinner. Just then, Draco stepped out from behind a tree. He was wearing yet another sweater vest, and he was proudly sporting a Ravenclaw hat. Well, well, Potter, Draco drawled smugly. Looks like you came to the pray-off after all. That's right. Wow, that was very British. That's right, Harry answered courageously. Well, then, Draco grinned self-righteously. Let's pray. Harry and Draco got down on their knees and raised their hands to the sky. I'll go first. God loves me best, Draco declared confidently. With that, he shouted, Dear Lord, if you agree with me that women are stupid and Potter is wrong, please strike him down where he stands. Dean Thomas and Ronald gasped. Hermione began to cry, but Harry did not flinch. He knew he was a man of the Lord. Draco grinned viciously as he looked to the sky for a bolt of lightning, but none came. His eyes widened and his jaw dropped. He began to cry. Now it was Harry's turn to pray. He raised his hands far higher than Draco's had been, and he screamed in a voice far louder than Draco's had been. Dear Lord, if you agree with me that women are just as good as men, if you agree with me that women are just as good as men, but just a little different, please. He thought for a second that he should be asking for Draco to be struck down, but then he was overcome with mercy. Please make him a Gryffindor hat.
Oh.
In that moment, the hat on Draco's head changed into red and yellow with a lion on it, and the tears rolling down his face were not sad tears. They were happy tears. The crowd of onlookers burst into applause, but Harry did not notice all the cheering students and teachers. He was bathing in the love of the Lord.
Draco just asked God to smite Harry. That's like the equivalent to the Avada Kedavra curse.
Yep.
Jeez.
Yes. God. Draco's a Gryffindor now.
So far, he's been 2 houses, and neither of them are his house. Or, I'm sorry, his hat.
His hat. Chapter 13, A Visitor to Hogwarts. Author's note. Hello, friends. Many of you have notified me about the typo in the last chapter. Oops. I was feeling so confident in my newfound writing skills last class, and I didn't think I needed to ask the teacher to get full proofread. Once again, oops. Just goes to show that Proverbs 16:18 applies to us all. And that, friends, is why this chapter is so late going up. I waited to post until Greg had a chance to look over it in detail. He says I'm definitely improving, but he did still have some suggestions. Hope y'all enjoy.
I'm sure we will.
The cheering crowd converged on the 2 righteous boys. They were led by Dean Thomas, Hermione, and Ronald. Hermione reached Harry first. Joyful tears were streaming down her face, and her lacy pink skirt was swirling around her legs. When she reached Harry, she wrapped her delicate arms around him in a chaste hug. I was so scared, she whispered tearfully. Harry pulled away and patted her reassuringly. He told her, There is nothing to be afraid of, not when we are on the side of righteousness. Hermione grinned admirably. She exclaimed, "You're so brave, Harry Potter." Harry smiled humbly and blushed and rubbed the back of his neck like a shy schoolboy. He didn't know why, but he felt so different around her than other people. Perhaps it was just because she was so godly, but Harry felt that it might be more than just admiration that he felt. What was the word? He couldn't quite put his finger on it. Dean Thomas stepped forward and gave him a very polite handshake. "Amazing job out there," he commented intelligently. Harry smiled humbly. "It was the work of a power greater than my own." Dean Thomas shook his head in admiration at how humble Harry was being. Truly, a light was shining in this little one. Ron was next in line. Tears streaming down his face and nose was running down to his chin. He wiped his face with a big freckled hand. He stuck out the other one for Harry to shake. Harry generously returned the action. "That was amazing," Ron sobbed honestly. "How do I be as holy as you?" Harry, Dean Thomas, and Hermione exchanged a knowing look. "Maybe," they suggested, "it has something to do with the hat on your head." I know, Hermione is such a little, wuss pants. It's terrible.
And she's 11, and I feel like they sexualize her so much. It's disturbing.
There is a weird sexual thing about this that I really don't like. Yeah, there is some undercurrents of...
Out of everything in the story, I really just don't like how she's depicting Hermione at all.
Yeah, it's the worst part of the story.
Yeah,
it's disturbing. Hermione is disturbing. The chest hair thing is just... That's
just funny.
Ron got a thoughtful look on his face. So many siblings that were too many for two parents to care for. His many siblings that were too many for two parents to care for did not like the look of that. Altogether, they walked over and grabbed Ronald and pulled him away. Harry, Dean Thomas, and Hermione were sad, but they hoped in their hearts that their word of truth would plant seed and grow. But before they could think too much about that, a car pulled into the parking lot. It didn't look like the car a busy mommy or daddy would have. No, it was a small, so-called eco-friendly car. Harry, Dean Thomas, and Hermione looked at it suspiciously.
So now if you drive a Prius, it's unchristian.
I guess so. You have to drive an SUV. They did not know who would come out of it, but they got the feeling it would not be someone good. The car stopped. The door opened. A man stepped out. He was tall and pale-skinned. He was a younger man with only a thin layer of hair hidden underneath his shirt.
I knew it.
You called it! You called it! He was a younger man with only a thin layer of hair hidden underneath his shirt. He was wearing a t-shirt, sweatpants, and sneakers. No one seemed to take much notice of him, but then the Reverend's wife stepped onto the scene. She screamed. She fainted. At the sound of her cry for help, the Reverend Dumbledore came running to the rescue. So many so-called pro-women's rights people think that Ephesians 2:522-25 is just about wives being submissive, but they don't talk about is what that it also tells husbands to sacrifice for their wives. Wow, does that sound oppressive? When he saw the man who'd gotten out of the car, he stopped and gasped, and he shouted, "Stand back, students! This is Voldemort himself." His lack of chest hair.
Lightly chest-haired Voldemort.
Very thin veil of chest hair on Voldemort.
Well, then he still has chest hair,
which is weird because Voldemort doesn't have any hair at all.
Exactly.
But even Voldemort, I guess, needs to have some chest hair. Now I'm picturing Voldemort with chest hair, and it's very weird for me. It's weird. It's weird.
For big V-cut robe, chest hair.
Yeah, like...
His man.
The Dark Lord has returned. Like, I don't know.
Who's the dog father now?
I know, Hermione and Gone with the Wind. Oh, fiddle-dee-dee, Harry Potter. My poor heart just can't take it no more. Chapter 14. bravely defeating the foe. This is the last chapter of the story, everybody. We're almost at the end. Author's note. Hello, friends. I have some news, and I know that it might be disappointing to the mamas out there. My husband and I had a very long talk last night, and he doesn't think that posting my writing online and going to classes is a good idea for our family. It was a hard decision for me to accept, but he does know best. I want to thank all the many righteous believers who have supported me in this little mission of mine, and I hope that this last chapter ties up the loose ends as best as one chapter can. Yeah, but you're right. You're not in a submissive, oppressive relationship at all. Not at all.
I think she said that it was a good thing or something. That she was saying that they say that being in a submissive is a bad thing, but it wasn't. She was saying why it's a good thing.
Yeah, I know.
It's good to be his wife meat. Or no, help meet. Help me.
Wife meat. Wife meat. Harry gasped, and Dean Thomas gasped too, and Hermione burst into tears as Voldemort ambled through the parking lot. The enormous crowd of righteous students were nervous, but they still stood boldly in the face of such horrifying evil. Dumbledore stood in front of them, protectively and manly. Harry looked at the depraved man walking toward them, and he thought of all the lies that he must have been told by evolutionists and feminists all his life, and he thought of the empty, meaningless depravedness that he must have had to distract him from missing the love in his life, and he thought of how one day he would die, and there would be no happy heaven for him, only the flames of hell. Harry wondered how anyone could be so stupid. Who would want hell more than heaven? It made Harry so angry. Voldemort stopped where he was in front of the Reverend Dumbledore. He arrogantly nodded and said, "Hey, my name's Tom Riddle, and I'm here to visit my cousin. Which way is the guy's dorm?" "Enough of your lies," Dumbledore exclaimed bravely. "We know who you are." Voldemort blinked stupidly, and then he uttered childishly, "I'm sorry." "What?" Do you like my Southern Voldemort? Southern Voldemort is so much fun.
I'm sorry. What?
Dumbledore smiled smartly. "You're pretending to be dumb, I see. Well, I'm not stupid. We know all about how much you hate Christians." "What? I don't hate Christians," Voldemort lied dishonestly. "What are you even talking about?" "You're still pretending to be dumb," the Reverend pointed out truthfully. "We know all about your plot to illegalize Christianity, Voldemort." Voldemort blinked stupidly again and questioned evilly, "Wait, is this about my Reddit account?"
What? Reddit's evil now?
Reddit is evil, I guess. It's a haven for evolutionists. "Is this about my Reddit account? Is that what you call your godless hate coven?" Dumbledore queried knowingly. "Well, yes, I've indeed seen your so-called Reddit account, and just try to deny your hatred of Christianity when you post things like this. Christians all sucks. Their religion is stupid and should be illegal. I will write to Congress and tell them to make it law." Harry Potter laughed intelligently because Voldemort did not even understand proper spelling and grammar. "That was a joke," Voldemort retorted unintelligently. "That whole account is a joke. I mean, Voldemort the righteous skeptic?" He laughed with the nervousness of someone who knows he is damned. "Of course you're not supposed to take it seriously." "Do you think religion is a laughing matter, young man?" Dumbledore demanded righteously. "Well, it is not. What sort of a joke is trying to outlaw religion?" "Of course I didn't want to outlaw religion," Voldemort uttered deceptively. "That would be ridiculous. I just got annoyed by the ridiculous straw man some Christians have made out of atheism. So, whenever I see someone ranting about how depraved and evil we non-believers are, I reply with something like that. You know, taking that stereotype to an extreme point to see how ridiculous it is. Also, a small but vocal minority of atheists exists that stereotypes and mocks anyone who disagrees with them. They can be just as hateful as people think we all are, and that does real damage. They bug me as much as the straw man arguments do, and they give those arguments credibility. So I do the same to them, replying with an extreme version of what they said to highlight the absurdity of it all. So, you're making fun of atheism? Dumbledore interrogated shrewdly. No, I am an atheist, Voldemort explained sinfully. I'm just as I thought, Dumbledore surmised wisely, and he smiled holily in his satisfaction that the Lord had worked through him. We have been preparing for this day, and we have been preparing for it for a long time. Students, the holy little ones stood at attention. Convert him, Dumbledore commanded bravely, and all at once the students began to shout. You've been tricked by the lies of society, Harry shrieked knowingly. You deserve to burn in hell. Come over here, Dean Thomas screeched articulately. Debate me on religion. I'm just so upset that you don't accept the Bible, Hermione sobbed femininely.
Why?
The Bible is the best book ever. Why can't you just respect that? I'm a Gryffindor hat now, Draco yelled boldly with the inspiring zeal that so many newcomers to the faith have. Do you hate me now? I bet you do. Voldemort covered his ears with the discomfort that heathens often find themselves with when they are confronted with the truth, and he shouted loudly to drown out the word of the Lord. You've been preparing to do this? To scream at me? It's the work of the Lord, Dumbledore explained accurately. Aren't there better ways to spend time than preaching to a bored idiot who makes fun of people on the internet? Voldemort questioned hedonistically. Your Lord seemed to be pretty concerned about helping people around him. Is that not his work anymore? How can we focus on helping people when there are people out there like you trying to destroy us? Dumbledore countered astutely. I told you before, the Reddit account is a joke, Voldemort whined pathetically, but the Reverend shook his head. I thought that might be so at first, the Reverend commented fairly, but it was just too realistic. How is it realistic? Voldemort inquired uninformedly. It wasn't even subtle. I waxed poetic about the sexiness of neckbeards and said that Christopher Hitchens has superpowers. It was supposed to be funny. How could you take it seriously? Dumbledore scoffed, and he replied faithfully, like it or not, your little joke is what most atheists today are like. So my Reddit account solidified your conception of atheists as a bunch of anti-Christian bigots who are just angry at God? Voldemort solicited stupidly, and then he sighed. Okay, you know what? This has gone too far. I'm sure that most people can tell I'm not being serious, but if I'm contributing to misinformation and stereotypes, I don't feel comfortable doing this. Voldemort pulled an iPhone out of his pocket and he began to type on it. After a few minutes, he showed the screen to Dumbledore. See this? I just made a post. I'm a troll. It is the last post I will ever make on this account. Are you happy? Dumbledore virtuously ignored the heretic, and he turned to the little ones standing behind his protection. Students of Hogwarts, this fool will not listen to reason. Let's save this heathen soul. All the little ones got down on their knees, and they prayed to the hands of the sky, raised their hands to the sky, and they screamed to the heavens in the voices of those they knew were doing great work. Lord, please make Voldemort a Gryffindor hat. Voldemort sighed wickedly, and he shook his head godlessly, and then he walked away depravedly. But even as the fornicating, drug-addicted evolutionists disappeared into the distance, the righteous little ones continued to pray. They knew that if they screamed loud enough, they would change the world.
Oh, God. Oh, I really thought it was just going to end there with, see, I posted, I'm a troll. That was going to be it. That would have been a better ending than My Immortal.
Sorry. Reddit is evil?
Yes, it is. You heard it here first. Reddit is evil. It is anti-Christian. It's full of fornicating, drug-addicted atheists.
Evolutionists.
And atheists.
I'm not an atheist, but I am an evolutionist. I'm not a drug addict.
No. Yeah, I'm not either. But
this was so much worse than My Immortal in so many. Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. This one was.
At the end, you can't help but feel for Voldemort. Because he was like, this is what you've been preparing to yell at me?
Yes.
About... yes, it was.
You're just going to yell at me?
And Hermione just always so helpless and pathetic.
Oh, Hermione was awful. Hermione was so awful. And we are all heathens.
Apparently.
We're all heathens. Let's celebrate. Yes, it actually was. It was. This one was Save Our Souls. Oh,
good God.
We're all going to hell.
And Voldemort's taking us there.
Sorry, I'm not going to be your helpmeet. Ladies, don't be anyone's helpmeet.
Don't be a helpmeet. And find yourself a man with a chess carpet.
Yeah, not someone like Voldemort who has just a thin veil of chest hair. Poor T-Rids.
Peach fuzz. I know, T-Rids.
Poor T-Rids. Voldemort got done dirty in this story.
And then he pulls out an iPhone.
I know, he had an iPhone. Does this lady have something against iPhones, too?
I guess so.
And like, fuel-efficient vehicles?
She's a Samsung user. I mean, so am I, but she seems to really not like Apple.
I feel like, though, she should be an Apple user. Don't you think? Like, isn't that like the housewife thing is to, like, have an iPhone? I mean, I have an iPhone, but whatever.
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that one.
I don't know how to answer that one either. She probably doesn't believe in global warming. Just want to say thank you. I've never read any fan fiction. I am so enjoying this. It's so fun. Yeah, right?
I have never read any fan fiction either, so it's first experience for me.
I mean, I've read a lot of them, but finding ones without spoilers in it is hard. And honestly, some of the ones I read when I was like 15, they're so naughty.
Are you saying they were naughtier than the Sorting Hat?
No, not like naughty like the Sorting Hat. The Sorting Hat was naughty in the most ridiculous way possible.
Yeah.
This was so much worse than the Sorting Hat story.
This really felt like the opposite My Immortal. It felt like it was the same. It was just the other extreme. My Immortal was the goth, all about death.
Yeah, and Satan.
Satan. This one, all about God.
She had Bible verses in there though. Like the My Immortal was just like, I'm an emo teenager.
Dude, she had more codes in there than the military.
They were all Satanists. Yep. And here they all believe in God. And you know what though? I liked the My Immortal characters better. They were more open-minded.
And Dean Thomas,
Yeah, what was with Dean Thomas?
I think he has a very
Maybe it's his name?
Yeah, Dean Thomas. It just sounds like that Southern Christian name.
Dean Thomas is a Southern cultured gentleman.
Yeah. Why, hello there, Mr. Thomas.
I wonder how she'd feel if she knew Dean Thomas was black. Think that would affect it? Everyone was blonde in this story.
I want to think
Maybe I shouldn't go open that can of worms.
Yeah, but from what we've seen, probably. But let's not even touch it. No. I don't know.
No, we're not going to go there. Dean Thomas. Poor Ron. Poor Ron.
I know. Ron is just an idiot. You thought the movies made him look like an idiot. This.
I just don't even... Oh, Hermione was awful. Hermione was so awful. Draco
kind of fit the part. Like, he acted like you would expect Draco to act.
Yeah, he was just... Instead of hating Harry, he just hates women.
Okay, I guess. And I guess that's his version of Christianity.
I don't even know.
This was a ride.
This was a very interesting ride. I feel spiritually drained now. Maybe I ought to pray to God to magic me up some lunch out there in the kitchen.
Pray to God for a Gryffindor hat.
The writer is a grown woman pushing religious views. My Immortal was a teen goth who hasn't grown up. This woman is scary. Yes, I would agree with that. Yeah. My Immortal, for all of its ridiculousness, was written by a kid. So a lot of the craziness of it can be excused by immaturity, hormones, all that stuff. This woman, yes, and she is indoctrinating her children with all of this.
And she was taking a writing class, and this still came out this way.
Yeah. And here's the thing. So many people in this country are like this. That's this. I'm not going to get political. I'm not going to do it. I won't go there. Nope, not the place.
Yeah,
for this.
the only
Not
politician we talk about here is Voldemort.
Like, there are schools in this country where they refuse to teach evolution, and that is okay. That, to me, blows my mind. I don't know. Bless you. Hermione. And there was some weird sexual tension stuff going on with Harry and Hermione. Like,
yeah, I didn't like it.
It was not... That made me more uncomfortable. The way that Harry and Hermione were in this story made me way more uncomfortable than Ebony and Draco in My Immortal.
Was it more uncomfortable than Hermione in the Sorting Hat?
Yeah, it was. Yes, it was.
Oh, yeah, I think it was too.
Yeah, it was.
I think it's the difference between a jump scare and, like, that suspense thriller.
Yeah.
Like, the Sorting Hat just came out and,
did it right in front of your face, and it just happened.
Literally.
This was a, like, insidious undercurrent kind of sneaky weirdness. Everything about this story in so many ways was way more uncomfortable. We might have to redeem ourselves and read Hufflepuff's fan fiction next time. And
I think that's a good idea. Our first viewer-made fan fiction.
First viewer-made fan fiction. We'll have to read Hufflepuff's next time. As long as there's no spoilers in it. Nothing past book 4.
If not, we'll still read it. We'll just wait till
later.
That's no longer a spoiler.
Yeah. God, I don't even know. What the hell did we just read? I feel like we got the glimpse inside of the mind of Sweet.
Nice.
Then I guess next live stream we'll be reading Hufflepuff's story.
I'm excited for that.
I feel like we got a glimpse inside of the mind of the typical American Christian housewife.
I don't even want to put that as typical. That's like extreme.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty extreme. That is pretty extreme. I shouldn't label like that.
Yeah, that's the extreme side of things.
Yeah, that's like somebody who homeschools their kids because they don't want them to. Yeah, that's like that really right-wing kind of woman. They're submissive to my husband kind of thing. Yeah,
yes,
that's true.
My husband says no, so no is no.
Right. Yeah. That's true. There are plenty of Christian people who are career women who can follow faith and not go way off the deep end into that whole
there's extremes in everything.
Yeah, that's true. There are extremes everywhere. There are 37 chapters in Goblet of Fire. We have she sounds like she's in a cult. That's what they're like in an, I think whoever this writer is in like an extreme little sect community, whatever, wherever she is. We have 2 more chapters to read.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we have 2 more chapters to read, and then we'll be done with Goblet of Fire. So that in our next live stream
we'll probably discuss Goblet of Fire.
We'll talk about Goblet of Fire, and then we can
read Hufflepuff's story.
Read Hufflepuff's cool story. So that'll be the game plan for next time. Which today is the 5th. Let me see. So our next live stream should be not this upcoming Saturday, the Saturday after, correct?
Yeah.
Wait, no. This is this upcoming, so it'll be this Saturday, right?
Yeah.
So our next live stream will be July 18th.
Unless something comes up and we can live stream within the week. But that would be later on. I'm trying to stay consistent. No spoilers. Perfect.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, all right, cool. No spoilers. Sounds good. Wow. Oh, God. I didn't realize that. Oh, shoot. It's almost 1 o'clock.
Oh, it is? Well, yeah.
We decided to read the whole story today.
Mm-hmm. We were so close. We had to.
Yeah, we just had to finish it and see how it... That was a very anticlimactic ending. They just yelled at him and then, he left.
Really was. I'm mad at her husband. Forcing her to just finish it that quick.
I know.
Could have been
an epic showdown. It could have been the pray off to end all pray-offs.
The power prayers.
The power of prayer, ladies and gentlemen. Jesus. I don't even know what I don't even know. This weekend was a fan fiction extravaganza of extremes.
I know. We really went from one extreme to the other. We went from dark to
dark in a different way. I don't know. The author's notes kind of made it even worse. The author's notes, because she's telling you what she thinks and how she functions and operates, and just.
I think it works so much better with a Southern accent too when you switched it up. It was great. Although your Southern Dumbledore accent, the British Southern mix, that was really good.
Oh, thank you. Voldemort in a Southern accent is fun, but it is not easy to do. He just is not Southern in any way. He's just not. Neither is Dumbledore. They are the most
British people.
Like, I just can't hear them in anything other than British accent. I can't. Ugh.
I can't picture them just wearing like
Baseball hats
baseball hats and flannels.
and massive amounts of chest hair. I'm trying to picture Snape with like massive amounts of chest hair, and it just doesn't work. I don't.
I kind of pictured the final showdown of Harry and Voldemort coming in with the big chest hair or whatever, and Harry's like, "That's not even real chest hair," and just rips it off. Oh no, you found my secrets.
I am naked. Wormtail, robe me. Austin Powers. Book 5, but no spoilers. Okay. Well, I'll peruse through it, and
I mean, if they just mention characters or something.
if they mention characters, that I wouldn't necessarily consider that a spoiler. If it's like got nothing to pertain with to the plot. Jesus. I keep saying Jesus. I don't.
Yeah, you can't say that anymore.
I know.
I was like, that story made Jesus sound sinful.
Story made Jesus sound really judgy.
Only if you're in Ravenclaw house.
Yes.
Wow. Why the Ravenclaws?
I know.
Take Ravenclaws and make them...
What does she have against Ravenclaw? She made them like the most judgy people.
Yeah, I don't know.
The Slytherins too, like...
Well, the Slytherins weren't really judgy.
They were really judgy towards the Slytherins. That's
But everyone
But
was
they
judgy
veiled
towards...
it under this mask of like, oh, well, we have mercy and compassion for the Slytherins. Which really means like, you think they're wrong and you want to convert them from Catholicism. That's what it is.
Just like they converted Voldemort.
Did they though?
Yes. Sooner or later, it will catch up to him. The power of prayer knows no bounds.
And then the Hufflepuffs, I guess.
The Hufflepuffs were actually kind of spot on. They're like, we love everyone. We're just nice.
Yeah. Yeah, they were not judgy about anything.
Yeah.
She seemed really offended by vegan bacon.
Yes, that too.
Like, really not cool with vegan bacon or like veggie food products.
She seemed very against, like, I guess you would call it like the hipster movement. Like vegan, vegetarian.
I know, she talked about neckbeards a little bit too. Which...
And then, God forbid you have a fuel-efficient car.
Yeah, I know. That's a sin too. Drive a gas-guzzling, poison-spewing SUV or nothing else.
It all depends on where you live. I wouldn't mind that in the wintertime here.
Well, yeah. I mean, if they made a fuel-efficient version of four-wheel drive something to get through the snow, that'd be great.
Oh, Tesla truck. That
How much is that thing?
Pixelated.
I love that thing.
I know, me too.
I love the Tesla truck. It's great.
I don't know how much that is, honestly.
It's more than I can afford, I'm sure.
Oh, what? Tesla... It's like 70,000 US.
Yeah, they're expensive.
I think the truck's cheaper, actually.
Is it?
Maybe not, but yeah, I think so.
I think I got bitten by something. Either way. They should have put Dobby in this story. They were really missing
I was waiting for it.
They really missed an opportunity for Dobby. Master has given Dobby a Bible. Dobby is free. Come on.
Oh God. Can you just picture that? And then Dobby comes back a few chapters later and he's like an ordained minister.
Dobby is freeing all the house elves. He is spreading the word.
Oh.
Except for Winky. She is a drug-addicted, butterbeer guzzling evolutionist.
Butterbeer guzzling. That's great. She supports the Voldemort.
I is hoping someday Oz can convert her, Harry Potter.
Pray for her.
Pray for her. Let us try and save her poor butterbeer addled soul. She thinks all house elves comes from monkeys. That's crazy.
That is kind of crazy. Have you seen a house elf?
Yeah.
They kind of look like they come from the Sphinx cats, if anything.
Winky is trying to tell all the house elves that they is not made in the image of God, that they has common ancestors with hippogriffs. That's crazy.
That would actually be a huge contradiction. Because if house elves are made in the image of God, he's trying to tell them, but Harry thinks that
he's made in the image of God.
Well, we seem to have found ourselves in a conundrum.
God is a shapeshifter. God is a boggart.
God is a boggart. Oh God. He's a Goddard.
The Goddard. Oh, they should have put Dementors in this story.
Oh God, would they just be demons, or would they be good and they like suck the sin out of you and purified you?
Dementors would be good.
I'm surprised they didn't have the Dementors delivering mail, flying in.
God is a boggart, title of your fan fiction. Oh my God. That would be great. I don't know. That would be great. So really, they were trying to purify Sirius. They weren't trying to kill him.
Yes. They're trying to take the sin from him.
So that he would become a mindless vegetable that doesn't think and just follows orders. That makes sense.
Jeez.
I'm sorry. This is why we put a disclaimer.
They were going to change him from Sirius Black to Sirius White.
Sirius Black becomes Sirius White.
His hair becomes blonde. His robes glow a blinding white.
And he grows a forest of chest hair.
He no longer has to become a dog to be that hairy. Oh, on that note, I think it's time.
Yeah, I think it's time. I got to clean all the poop out of my fish tanks.
This has been a wonderfully fun weekend. Thank you all for joining us.
Yes, this has been great. Absolutely great. It's so nice to hang out with all of you guys and explore the internet. Explore the internet and,
Except Reddit, stay away from there.
Yeah, except for Reddit. It's a sin, I guess. I wonder how she'd feel about Tumblr.
Oh, good God.
She would probably
kill it with fire.
Yes, enjoy the rest of your days, guys. Have a great
Take care. Have a great week.
Yes. Monday when we will be uploading. That's right.
Yep.
Chapter, I don't even know where we are in the upload. Chapter 33?
34.
34 will
I believe
be
is
the
the next
upload.
one.
All right. Happy Sunday. Blessings to you
Yes.
too.
Very appropriate read today.
Yes, very appropriate read today. And again, just to iterate, we really were not meaning to offend anyone or upset anyone. This was all just in good fun.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
We'll see you in the next one where we will be reading Hufflepuff's fan fiction.
Yes, we'll read Hufflepuff's fan fiction and discuss Goblet of Fire in its entirety on the 18th. Probably at noon.
Yes.
18th at noon. We'll see you there.